Rangers in the Champions League playoff round.
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.
Welcome to European Sports Sound with me, Kenny McIntyre. It's judgment night for Rangers. Can Michael Beale's side repeat the feat of last season and book their place in the promised land of the Champions League?
This is Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland. Rangers in the Champions League playoff round.
Thrilling night here at Ibrox. New managers, but the same scoreline between the same clubs as the playoff meeting last season. It's 2-2 after the first leg this year. This Champions League playoff tie is on a knife edge yet again.
The way it is, we've got to go away from home and get a result to go through. The club's done it before.
Squares it for Chula, who scores! It is PSV 0, Rangers 1 and 3-2. The Ibrox side lead on aggregate.
Everything's to play for. Somebody has to win. It's a cup final.
Sima shoots, goal! It's an absolutely thunderous finish from Abdallah Sima, who gives Rangers an incredible lead here. And it's going to break to Sangare, who'll level this match. Smashed home, Rangers 1, PSV Eindhoven 1. An early ball by Dessers, chance for Matondo! Goal for Rangers! De Jong's header, goal! And it's Rangers 2, PSV 2.
I don't want anybody to underestimate us, and we're going there to get this job done, and we'll give it everything we can in what is a huge game for the club.
Oh, what a finish!
Rangers in the Champions League playoff round.
What a goal for Rangers!
This is Sports Sound.
Welcome to the show. This should be an absolute cracker. PSV against Rangers kicks off at 8 o'clock. Stephen Thompson and Liam McLeod are in Eindhoven. They will bring us full commentary. Neil McCann and Tom English are alongside me in the studio. I think of words, Neil, such as glamour, prestige, riches that are associated with the Champions League. But to get there, it's words tonight such as grit, fight, discipline that will come to the fore.
Yeah, I like the words that you've used, Kenny, and a large portion of bravery as well. It'll need to be really good tactically from Michael Beale and his players. Of course, they will have to play on the counter-attack. I don't have a problem seeing PSV own the lion's share of possession. But if you remember the Servette game and indeed the first half of PSV, I felt that Rangers allowed PSV in particular too much room down the outsides. No allowing, I haven't seen their team yet, Kenny, so we'll probably get that soon. Bakayoko on the other side, very dangerous players. And if you're supplying a guy like De Jong in the box, which he's already proved at Ibrox last week with chances, he's liable to take them. So they stemmed it really well in the second half. So tactically, Michael was able to adjust. Guys like Matondo on the side tonight, is Tom and I were sort of touching on it before the show. It's quite incredible when you think of the amount of signings that Michael's made, and then he goes to Matondo, who really couldn't get a look in last year. Yeah. But I think he's shown in the last couple of games that he's lively, he's got pace. I think pace is going to be important tonight, particularly on the counter-attack. They don't have a player like Ryan Kent. And Michael's actually indeed been quoted as saying that he needs to get probably one of those types of players. And I think Matondo's maybe stepped up and thought, right, I can be that guy. Maybe that's allowed him a wee bit of bravery in his own performance to go and try and make things happen. But with Cantwell on the team, his energy is going to be so crucial, and Dessers needs to show up tonight. It's so important that they don't think that the job has to be done early. They have to stem the flow of PSV. And as I said, the word bravery is going to be vital, because they need to take chances. They need to do the things that they're good at. The guys in the forward areas need to make sure that they're inventive. They're prepared to take sometimes a risky pass, or a risk in terms of going 1v1 and committing people in the final third. If you get PSV on the back foot, then it's more yardage they have to make to come and score against Rangers. So sometimes the attack is the best form of defence, but it has to be balanced, Kenny. It really does. It's a huge night for Rangers.
Yeah, a huge occasion for Rangers, as Neil said, Tom. They delivered the goods at this time last season. It's going to take a supreme effort to get the job done tonight.
It is, yeah, and we haven't seen the type of performance that Rangers require to win tonight. We haven't seen it yet. So it's a huge kind of step into the unknown for them as a team and for us as observers of this team. They're new players, whether they're starting, whether they're coming off the bench. They need to deliver tonight. This is what they were brought in here for, in part, to get them to the Champions League. They've had a kind of a patchy enough beginning, some of them, maybe most of them. Tonight's the night. And they're up against a side that I make favourites, but even if Rangers are to go out tonight, they need to put in a performance. That's the minimum requirement, that they need to put it up to PSV.
It's incredible, Tom. I know we're just discussing and I touched on it. Cifuentes, Dessers and Butland. The rest are all been there. The rest are all existing in the building. So although he's made all these signings, I think Michael Beale clearly on the biggest game, I think, of his tenure, for the prize that's at stake, he's gone with guys who are already in the building. So that tells you that he's not quite sure that these boys have settled properly. They've not shown why he's brought them to the club just yet. Not for an occasion like this.
Yeah, they haven't settled. I mean, if you said at the end of last season, tell you what, final playoff, second leg, must win in Eindhoven, Matondo's going to start. Every Rangers fan would have gone, are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, a big challenge ahead. Let's then cross to our team in Eindhoven. Stephen Thompson and Liam McLeod are there. We'll get to them in just a minute. I'm not sure if you're there, guys. No, we've got a few technical issues this evening. We'll get to the guys shortly. I listened to them. They did a podcast earlier on, big build-up. And Tom was saying he was obviously there for the tie last season when Rangers did get through that Cholak goal. It's apparently a fantastic arena, Neil. You know it. It's going to be a real occasion out there tonight.
Yes, I do know. I played there. Saying last week when Big George, Big Albert scored. We beat them.
You scored there. I mean, you were making a big play last week.
Yeah,
goals you'd scored. Did you score there as well?
No, I didn't. I just made sure that I made myself get out of the way of the hammer. He hit his volley. It dropped. He caught it sweet. Typical George Albert's type of strike. But the arena itself is quite a steep arena. It's quite close to the pitch, for what I remember. It creates a very, very hostile atmosphere when it's full. Listen, I think it's so important to PSV. This is a massive prize for them as well. And I think their fans will come into the stadium expectant that they will do the job against Rangers. I spoke last week, our big 6'5" friend that stood behind me, honestly, and I threw out the word arrogant with a look over my shoulder like a central midfielder, Kenny. But I do believe that there is a swagger about the Dutch. There is an arrogance, whether it's a supreme confidence. I do honestly think that they think the job will get taken care of tonight. And I think Rangers over the number of seasons, the past couple of seasons certainly in Europe, have shown that when that type of bravado stares them in the face, they've got a big result.
Well, Rick Elfrink, the journalist you spoke about there, we're hoping he will join us. He's in the stadium this evening. Our team is there, Stephen Thompson and Liam McLeod. Good evening to you, Liam. You can bring us the team news, set the scene for us. I know it's a terrific arena, Neil's saying there, for what should be a great sporting occasion.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's going to be quite some night, and this place is going to be rocking as well. What are we now, 46 minutes away from kick-off? We were handed the team news about half an hour ago, and very interesting, as you were hinting at there, when it comes to Rabbi Matondo, who makes just his 13th start in his Rangers career. John Lundstrom also comes into the team from the one that started the first leg a week ago. Jack and Sima drop out of the starting 11, so it's Butlin in goal, Tavernier, Goldson, Suter and Barisic, Cifuentes, Lundstrom and Raskan. Cantwell will support Matondo, and Dessers up front for Rangers. I think that's 4 of that starting 11 started here a year ago. The Rangers bench: Jack, Lammer, Sima, Sterling, Wright, Davis, Balogun, McCrory, Wright, King, Devine and Danilo, the 2 rights on the bench there, including the goalkeeper. As far as PSV are concerned, they didn't play at the weekend. They were given the weekend off. Indeed, all the Dutch representation in the playoff stage for the respective European tournaments were all given the weekend off. So they haven't played since last week. One change from that team that Peter Bosch put out, and Andre Ramalho, the centre-back, is out injured. You might remember he came off during the match with a niggle last week. He's only fit enough to play
from the bench tonight. Olivier Buscali, the other centre-back, also came off, but he is fit to play. So Benitez, the goalkeeper, Tays, Schouten, Buscali and Dest. Now Yerdy Schouten, they're one of the summer signings, is actually a midfield player. So I don't know if he's going to rejig his defence and go with a 3. I don't know if he's got the personnel in the team to be able to do that tonight. So Schouten may be asked to go back into the centre of defence. We will see when they kick off. The middle 3, Saibari, who was immense at Ibrox last week, Sangari, who scored at Ibrox last week, and Veerman. And then they've got Bakayoko and Lang supporting Luke de Jong, who makes his 250th PSV appearance tonight, as he looks to become the first PSV Eindhoven player to score in 5 successive European matches for the club. He's a danger man. We saw that last week when he scored that header. And the bench, Sambo, Ramallo, Tillman, who set up Cholak for the winner here for Rangers a year ago, on loan from Bayern Munich at PSV. Pepe, Drommel, Thiel, El Ghazi, Waterman, Babadi, Van Aanholt and Vertessen make up the PSV bench. The referee for tonight's game is 39-year-old Spanish economist Jose Maria Sanchez Martinez, who took charge of last season's Spanish Cup final in Seville as Real Madrid beat Osasuna. This place is beginning to fill up here. The Rangers fans, Kenny, in the pocket off to our left, the segregated section up in the upper tier. It's a completely enclosed stadium. It holds around about 30-odd thousand. It's a fabulous ground, and it could be a fabulous occasion tonight.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it, Liam. It sounds like a great atmosphere building there already. Good evening to you, Stephen Thompson. Your thoughts on that Rangers team?
Hi there. Yeah, it was nice, and you were just about to name it before Liam did there. I enjoyed that. Liam's face was fizzing. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a surprise for me a wee bit. John Lundstrom coming into the side. I'm not surprised to see Rabbi Matondo come into the side. I thought his performance when he came onto the pitch in the home tie was excellent. Even at the weekend, I felt as though when he came on against Ross County, he offered a real threat. He looks full of confidence, and he obviously will give you that pace as an out ball when Rangers are going to be under pressure, which we're expecting them to be, that he can carry the ball up the pitch for Rangers, which they will need tonight. They'll also need Dessers to be able to hold on to the ball whenever it comes up to him. 2 big jobs in the team for those 2 players tonight. The back 4 at this minute in time, well, it picks itself. I think Goldson and Suter for me in the home tie were excellent. I thought they did really, really well. They've got a big job on their hands because Luke de Jong, when that ball comes into the box, he is so dangerous in the air. Last week, I felt as though Bakayoko was cutting in all the time, and as much as Noah Lang looked a real threat, and he's obviously a terrific footballer, I felt as though they probably didn't get in as much crosses or cause Rangers as many problems as I thought they were going to, given their kind of dominance, especially in the opening 50-odd minutes. But they'll be looking to change that tonight.
Right, thanks to Steve.
I'm expecting them to come out the traps really, really quickly. It's so important that Rangers succeed.
Thanks, Stephen. Sorry to cut across you. Obviously some problems with the line. We'll try and get that established properly for you, Neil. From what we saw last week, from the team you have now heard that Michael Beale has selected tonight, how do you expect him to play this tactically this evening?
Well, first of all, my sincere apologies to Liam for emptying some of the team news there. I think the way it's set up there, it's clearly that Lundstrom's in the side. He'll play the anchor role, I feel, Kenny. And he can slide in there. If Tavernier goes, he can come across, play as a fullback. Can cover both fullbacks. If he's a deeper one, he can slide in there and become a third centre back. Cifuentes and Raskin will be charged with the responsibility of trying to get out to the fullbacks. Destin and Tays last week were very effective. Mm-hmm. And if you remember, I had pointed out tactically that Sangari and Veerman played not quite together. I felt Sangari was always the deeper line one, and I felt that at times when Raskin was trying to jump onto him, generally through the middle area of the pitch, what was happening was that they were just then opening up to Tays, and Barisic was getting done because Bakayoko was coming inside and there was lots of room. And once they adjusted that Raskin wasn't jumping too early, I thought tactically it settled the game down. I think it allowed Rangers back into the flow of the match. And I don't see much difference to that. That will then mean that Cantwell and Matondo can really be asked to go and get in touch with Dessers once they gain possession of the ball, Rangers. I do believe that Michael will be telling him not to sit too deep. If you sit too deep, then I think you bring unwanted pressure. Noah Lang's very, very clever. I know Stevie says there that he looked good, but he wasn't really overly effective. But good players, I mean, it's not often, Kenny, they'll go a couple of matches of this type. Let's be honest, he came from Club Brugge for nights like this for PSV. If he's in and around, he plays lovely little 1-2s around the box. He's really quick-footed. Bakayoko on the other side, the exact same. And Saibari that Liam spoke about, I think he's probably maybe the most talented and most dangerous player, in my opinion, tonight that Rangers have to watch. I thought he was brilliant last year. Yeah. So, listen, it's a counter-attack all night long. But, as I said, Kenny, you can't just sit too deep. You have to show a bit of bravery, particularly in possession of the football. I'm fully expecting Tavernier and Barisic to have a licence that when it is on, they will be asked to go and try and peg this team back, particularly Dest and Taze, because they're effective going forward. I'm not sure how good they are defensively.
We will hear from both managers. Tom, put into context for us what's at stake for Rangers tonight in a financial sense, because we keep saying it's a massive match, it's a huge match. What are we talking about?
Well, it's hard to put a precise figure on it until we see the kind of actual numbers, until we see. Okay, put it this way. Last season, Rangers made, and remember statistically the worst Champions League team ever, they made 22 million. The season before, when they went all the way to the Europa League final, they made 17 million. So they won all those games in the Europa League, 17 million. Didn't win anything in the Champions League, 5 million quid more. And that's 22 million last season. It's about 2.5 million for a win, a group stage win, which they obviously didn't get any. It's 930,000 for a draw. So they could have added substantially to that bottom line, but they didn't. So it was 22 million. Poor Rangers had to suffer for a mere 22 million, Neil.
It's incredible. Of course, I mean, I used the word character before, Neil. I'm sure it's a well-used phrase. I heard it from the Australian golfer Cam Smith when he won the Open last year. He said, pressure is a privilege. It is, but we know it's not for everyone. This is going to be the ultimate test for these players tonight. We know you'll have seen players that can't handle the occasion, the expectation. Yeah, listen, of course guys will freeze. Good players, top players have frozen in big moments. I mean, it's not something that you become immune to just because you're regarded as a top-class player. For whatever reason, it can affect you. But I think, and you've heard sayings, there's loads of sayings, you play the game, not the occasion, all that sort of stuff. But in quiet moments of football matches, that's when your mind starts to relax off the game. It could be an injury, it could be a substitution, it could be someone walking over slowly to take a corner, and you maybe start to think about what's at stake here in a football match. And generally, the top players deal with that pressure better than anyone else. That's why they win so much. Whether it be, as you mentioned golf, or football, or whatever sport, the top players tend to get the job done. But it's the same for PSV as it is for Rangers tonight. The prize is the exact same there. 22 million is incredible considering how poorly Rangers performed last year. I mean, a really strong group. I might throw into the mix here. There's no embarrassment there in terms of who they were playing against. But what you want to do is you don't want to run away with your tail between your legs. You want to get back there again and make sure and say, right, I'm going to do better than that. So 22 million without gaining a win, is it achievable? Of course it is, because Michael Beale will feel that they've strengthened. Touching on that before the game about Butland, Cifuentes and Dessers, only the three of the new recruits have made the starting lineup. But these guys, if they do make the big table, the top table, will be given time to break into that squad and show why they've been acquired by Michael Beale to come to Rangers to play in the big games. But it's a difficult thing when you're walking out the tunnel. You have to steel yourself. I've been there against big teams when we've had to get a result, and it can't be done with individuals, Kenny. You must have a team that's been brave and pulling together, because in moments in matches you will feel the pressure, and it's about your teammates dragging you through that.
I mean, we were talking about numbers a minute ago. We'll talk about numbers in a different context. PSV have only lost twice in their own stadium since all of last season. And Rangers were obviously one of the wins. AZ was the other. But you look at their last 10 home games, 2 home games this season and the last 8 home games of last season. Their goal tally per game, I'll just read them out, right? 4-2, 3-2, 3-4, 5-3, 2, 6.
Wow.
That's what their last 10 home games, that's the number of goals they've got.
But you could see that in them last week. Albeit
they have it in their lock.
too often, but you can see it, the danger within that side all over the park.
Well, Sangari's a class act, okay, so and Veerman, obviously a quality internationalist, but it's that front four. As I said, Noah Lang is a superb player. De Jong's got the pedigree. Bakayoko is a young kid who's getting a lot of admiring glances. In fact, he might disappear. He might play his part just to get PSV to the promised land of Champions League, and I think they'll cash in. But Saibari is the one that I really, really like. He's so dangerous. His little dummy last week for Sangari was just so much awareness and class without touching the ball, just to create an opportunity. But yeah, that's quite incredible, Tom's stats that he's just churned out there. That backs up my saying of why this PSV crowd are expecting they will do the business on Rangers tonight and they'll go through. But how many teams have had that type of swagger and think, right, we'll go in here, we only need to show a wee bit. They don't, because the pressure can affect, as we just were discussing there, certain individuals. Williams was brilliant in terms of his summary there of the lineup, talking about this shouting coming into the side. And I looked at one of the other websites here and had him playing Saibari at left back and shouting because he's a central midfielder into the park. I think Liam will be right. That's the guy you target, because it doesn't matter if you're a guy like we saw Lundstrom and we saw his name escapes me, Sands, going and playing centre back. Okay, decent enough players. Take them out of their position, you put them into a high pressure job in a different position, they make mistakes because they're not natural. So if I was Michael Beale, I'm thinking, right, if Shouten's playing there beside Dest, again, just into team, good going forward, you make sure you get down that right side. Try and target that right side, play on it, pin it, try and get a mistake out of them and quiet this huge expecting crowd.
Well, you mentioned Sands there. Our team are back with us in Eindhoven. Stephen, there's been a lot of talk over the past weeks. We discussed it in the programme last week about the strengths of this current Rangers squad compared to the Rangers squad that played last season, how long it's taken this team to knit together. Just looking at the side that did the business this time last year in Eindhoven, so it's McLaughlin, Tavernier, Goldson, Sands, Barisic, Lundstrom, Kamara, Lawrence, Tillman, Kent and Cholak. How does that stack up to the team that Michael Beale has gone with tonight? Do you think there has been progression, there has been improvement?
I don't think there's that much difference between the two lineups, in all honesty. I think Cantwell coming into the team is a strength. I think that John Suter, certainly alongside Goldson, is stronger than Sands. Butland, a top goalkeeper. Tavernier and Barisic are always going to play. I don't think necessarily that this is a weaker team than the team that beat PSV last year. I think this team has got, everybody's been talking about it since the start of the season. We're waiting to really kind of judge certainly the front players from Rangers, and Dessers and Danilo and Sima and Lammers. The jury is still out and it will take time, but this is the stage where, certainly for Dessers tonight leading the line, that he's got to show. He's got to show up tonight and prove his worth. He missed a couple of chances on Saturday against Ross County that I felt as though he should have taken headers. But the manager seems to be favouring him over Danilo at the minute. I certainly think in this type of game tonight he'll have an important role in terms of holding the ball
Stevie,
up.
what's his strong suit? What's his strong suit? I'm asking you as a centre forward, right? What do you think his best asset is? Because I don't know yet.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree with you that I don't know yet. I mean, I certainly think that in terms of finishing, he hasn't looked like a prolific finisher so far. In terms of holding the ball up, he puts himself about. I think he works reasonably hard, although there are times when the balls come up to him, I felt as though he could have secured it better in the games that I've watched him. A couple of slack ones. I don't really know is the honest answer with you, Neil, and I guess only time will tell. But he's been given the task tonight of leading the line. How much ball he'll see, I mean, when we talked about the last week's game, he wasn't really involved that much because of the pressure that PSV were putting Rangers under, and I think it'll be a very similar story tonight. His role will be important, but I don't know how much he heard of what I was saying earlier before we get cut off. The line apparently is a bit dodgy, but Matondo's role in the team is huge tonight, just for getting respite for those Rangers players, because it's going to be waves of attack. It's going to be waves of attack, and if he can carry the ball 30, 40 yards up the pitch and the defence can squeeze out and the midfield can get up a wee bit and just help Rangers get a wee breather, because, you know, I'm expecting an avalanche of attacks coming from PSV. It's so important that Rangers early on in the game, or at least up until half-time, are still in this game. When it gets to half-time, there'll be an anxiety if Rangers are still in the game from this crowd, from the PSV players they'll be thinking about last year. So if Rangers, for me, it's vital they get to half-time in the match, and it's going to be all about riding out this early storm, which is going to be, I think they're going to start at a terrific pace. But in doing that, I felt last week as well, there was 3 or 4 occasions where I felt as though PSV were there to get, I felt as though the defenders were taking chances on the ball, especially Ramalho. Maybe that's why he's out of the team. I don't know, he was injured towards the end of the game last week, but I felt as though if you were really on it, you could get something from the way that they play. They obviously want to build from the back, but they took some chances, and I think that with Matondo's pace, and if the rest of the team can get up and support the forward players, Cantwell's energy, I do think that Rangers are capable of scoring here tonight. Do I think they're capable of not conceding? No. So for me, I do think PSV will score, but I also think Rangers are capable of scoring. It's going to be so difficult for Rangers. We know that, but they've done it once before, and they were underdogs then, and they're underdogs tonight. I do believe they can do it, but it's going to take a performance level that we've not seen from this team yet, from Michael Beale's new Rangers team. It's going to take a performance that we've not seen yet from them for them to go through tonight. They're going to have to hit a level they've not hit.
Guys, I'm just interested in digging deeper into the squad. Just one question for you, Tom, and one for Neil. In terms of yourself, Stephen, Kemar Roofe, he's not involved tonight. He's not part of this European squad.
Yeah.
But from what you know of him and what you've seen from others so far, is he the best finisher Rangers have?
I would say so, only because we know and we've seen what he can do over the last couple of years, and we know that he can finish, and his conversion rate's high when he gets opportunities. We've not seen enough of the other forward players yet. I mean, we've seen them miss a couple of good chances. Obviously, Danilo over in Geneva, and Dessers as well missed a couple of chances. I don't know. I do think probably the answer to that would be yes right now. Unfortunately, he's not here this evening, so but I do think that he's a player that will be very useful to Rangers over the season if he can stay fit. It's been his biggest problem. He's not managed to stay fit.
Sorry, I agree with Stevie. The problem for the boy is that he's really struggling to get his body robust enough to get serious game time under his belt that's going to allow him to perform and show that he can do a job. Danilo's a player that I still believe will come good. I think he's got really, really good attributes to my eye watching him. Dessers is the one that's charged with the task of getting his side up the pitch tonight, but still retaining that goal threat. I was watching that, sorry, I was just catching the TV there. It was distracted there, Kenny, that's why I was taking a wee bit of time. It's funny because the TV's got it as a 4-4-1-1 with Cantwell just off of Dessers. Now, if that's the case, it's quite strong across the midline. And Cantwell, I watched an interview he was doing during the week with the boys from down south, up at Glen Eagles doing a bit of golf, and he was talking about what's his best position. And it's funny because I did sports scene with Stevie a couple of weeks back, and Michael was playing him off the left, and I was just saying, like, I totally believe that this guy is wasted. Not wasted, that's maybe a strong word, but certainly dampened playing deeper. I think he's much more effective now. If he is off the front, I think it would be really, really good. for Rangers to get him in that position, that little pocket behind the main striker. That would allow Cifuentes and Matondo to really stretch this PSV side. It would also allow Cantwell to drop in on top of Singari, which I said is tactically, I think, is important because he's such a good player. And when Raskin bounced too early last week, they got isolated in that area, and then I thought they got dominated in the wider areas resulting from that. So if it is to be like the guys have got on the TV, that might be a decent formation tactically for him, but it still doesn't excuse that Dessers has got a massive responsibility as Rangers' main striker tonight to score the goal like Cholak did in the last game, a corresponding fixture last year, to take Rangers to the Champions League.
Dessers, you look at Dessers and it's hard to know what to make of him, and I look at his pedigree and there's obviously in his stats there's signs of a decent player there. Season before last for Feyenoord, 19 goals, a goal for Nigeria versus Mexico as well. On those numbers, that's a decent player. But we haven't really seen it yet. It's it's early days. Maybe he is the one. Maybe it's Roof, if it can keep him fit. You look at him in 2020-21, 18 goals for Rangers, 17 goals the following season. Kind of injury after injury after injury there. It's a kind of a case of what might have been with Roof so far. He's got time. He's 30. Sort of, miles on the clock if he can get stiff. He's got plenty of miles on the clock, but he's still got plenty of time left if he can catch a break.
Yeah.
It's hard to know who's going to... I think that position is wide open for any one of these guys to just grab the position and make it his own.
I agree, and I think Roof showed his goal last week was against Ross County was... it was opportunistic, it was instinctive, it was actually a very, very good goal. It looks quite easy because his technique of actually staying balanced while fighting a fullback at the time and put that on target was really, really good. I think back to his great goals, one against Anderlecht. It was Anderlecht, I'm sure, from his own half. The boy can score goals, and Dessers they've got him highlighted here. We're watching some stuff. He's physically a good specimen. He's strong. He's powerful. He's not lightning quick. He's got decent movement. I think Michael over the last couple of weeks has been saying he's getting fitter. He's used that soundbite a couple of times now, and maybe that's just to let us know that there's more to come from this boy, and he feels every day that he's going to become stronger. But as a centre forward at Rangers, you should be scoring goals because all right, this is the elite competition we're talking about. But the centre forward number 9 for Rangers should be scoring 20 plus goals a season. Let's be honest here, minimum. The chances and the domination that club will have domestically.
The service.
And and if you're not, Lawrence Shankland, right?
Yeah.
If Lawrence Shankland's getting the same chances as a Morelos or a Dessers or a Kyogo or something, Lawrence Shankland is banging 25 plus goals in. Because he's a natural born goal scorer.
He's a clever finisher, isn't he, Lawrence Shankland? It's just one final question.
Sorry, Kenny, why wouldn't they go to Hearts in the summer and say, right, here's 5, here's 6, whatever they spent on some of the other guys, here's 5 million, here's 6 million, Hearts. Just test.
Tom, I don't know. I can't answer that question. I've got my...
It wouldn't have cost that amount of money
listen,
either. To get Shankland in the door, it would not have cost anything.
He'd start tonight, Tom, wouldn't he?
A Rangers or Celtic.
I thought so.
Yeah.
A Rangers or Celtic with a Lawrence Shankland in the team.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer for me.
Do you think it's almost like snob? I'm trying to think of the right word. Snobby's not the right word, but do you know what I mean? They won't look domestically. They always think there are better options, maybe more glamorous names abroad.
Possibly, aye. But then you sign them and you say, they need time to settle.
Yeah.
Lawrence Shankland doesn't need time to settle. He scored 27, 28 goals last year. He finished behind Kyogo, Celtic Kyogo.
Yeah.
The first player in 30 years to score 20 goals for Hearts. That boy would score goals anywhere. When he went out of Beershot, they started playing him off the right wing. He gets men sent off in the first few games. He ended up getting extracted from the side. It didn't work out for him. He still, I think, ended up their top goal scorer. They never scored many goals, but I think he was their top goal scorer. He came back to Dundee United, or he came back to Hearts when he left Dundee United to go to Beershot. Comes back to Hearts, ends up their captain, top goal scorer. I agree with you, Kenny. I think
Rangers used to do it.
Yes,
Terry.
I was just about to
Rangers
say
used to
that,
do it. You
Tomo.
like Kenny Miller,
Yes.
Stephen Naismith, Boydie.
Correct.
All right, I was saying I wasn't prolific for Rangers, but they were giving chances to young Scottish strikers and taking a punt on them.
Billy Dodds coming across at
Dodo,
Rangers.
aye.
Yep.
So the Doctor, yep. So they've got a history of signing Scottish strikers and a history of them doing well. Again, I'll not put myself in that category, but,
I think you're putting yourself down. I'm pretty sure you scored on the last day of the season.
I scored a few, but what
Yep.
I'm saying is, why is that model changed?
I don't know.
It's a model that had been successful in the past, and Rangers have spent a lot of money assembling this new front line with all their kind of forward players, anybody across that front four really. When you look at somebody like Lawrence, I was at St Mirren with him, and he's really developed into a top player, one of the top players in the league in terms of strikers. Why wouldn't you? And you would have got Lawrence in the door for, a fraction of the price that it's cost to get Danilo in.
Oh, he'd have been cheaper than Danilo, and he would have been round about the ballpark probably with Dessers. But I think that ship sailed because Michael's chosen other guys and he's going to stick with those, and he's spent his money in his front line. But I'm looking across at Celtic Park and I'm thinking, right, they've got O and they've got Kyogo, and they lost Giacomakis. I can't believe they're not saying, right, I'll have a wee pop on Lawrence.
And Kyogo's getting his shoulder surgery at some point as well.
Both of these clubs, Rangers and Celtic, Scottish players don't get much of a look in unless they're, Callum McGregor, Greg Taylor Ralston, but forward players, they're not getting a look in. Like Lowry's gone out on loan to Hearts. Mm-hmm. Celtic have, I'm told, plenty of good, smart attacking players in underage, not getting a look in, not even getting on the bench in a cup game or a game coming on when Celtic are, say last season when they're 3 or 4, like 5, the classic example when they were 5-0 against Morton. They were 4-0 up at half time, and I think they brought on one of their young players, a defender, with about 2 or 3 minutes to go. Like, it's just both of them, and I know there's massive pressure on both of them to win, but I think you can keep winning domestically while giving a chance to young players. And I think it's broader than Lawrence Shanklin, and why don't the big two pick him up? It's just, why aren't young Scottish players being given a chance at these clubs that have all the benefits and all the advantages over their domestic rivals? Look,
I know we've gone on to a wee bit off piste here in terms of, but we're talking about the pressures on strikers. I know Celtic are already there, so we're concentrating on Rangers tonight. The pressures on Dessers and Danilo and guys like that to get goals, top goals that's going to get them to top competition, the elite competition. And you have to be able to have a pedigree to do that. So you have to be a goal scorer, but you have to be able to do it more often than not. And the point we're making about...
the big difference is, I think the big difference is in these games when you're stepping up a level, right? You get a chance at Ibrox at home in the Premiership, and you miss your chance. You know you're going to get another chance.
Yep.
Here at this level, you might get only one chance in a game, the whole 90 minutes, and you have to take it. That's how clinical you've got to be 100%. At this level.
100%.
And that's the difference.
I know, and I did the Pout game the other week there. I think Lawrence had 2 chances. One from penalty spot he scores, and the other one he puts in the top corner. He's just offside.
Come finished.
I mean, so, but Tomo's absolutely right. At this elite competition, chances will come tonight for Dessers. It came for Danilo twice, 2 games, missed them.
That's my point, Neil, when I was talking about Kemar Roof. I know he's not available tonight, but if he was playing tonight and there's one chance, he's probably the man you want at the end of it.
I would have to agree with that, and I think he is the most natural goal scorer at the club, so it's just getting the boy fit.
Can I just ask one quick one, Neil, just in terms of going back to that squad of that team of last season, look at the current Rangers squad. It's a man you know well. Glenn Kamara started in the game last week. Now, there's talk of him going to Leeds United, £6.5 million. What on earth has happened there? Why can't a player of that value get into this Rangers team?
Well, look, I think probably is both parties have probably thought, right, it's time that Glenn moves on. He's a super player. I think he's enjoyed brilliant times at Rangers, and Michael has clearly got out and just strengthened that area and thinks that he's going to go a different direction. And if it does, then Glenn should thank the club for the opportunity to do something that a lot of people don't get the opportunity to do, which is play for a great club. And he played his part in 55 and success there. And if he leaves, then hopefully he'll leave with good memories, and the Rangers fans will have the same. But the club will move on. players will come and go at that football club, great players, and hopefully they'll bring success no matter what.
Yeah, it's all about the team tonight, of course. Let's then hear from the Rangers manager, Michael Beale. He spoke with the media yesterday.
Yeah, obviously it would be huge. It would be huge for the club and the fans first and foremost, and this group of players that are desperate to play in that competition again. Naturally, for me and the staff, we're obviously, that's the aim, and the aim coming into pre-season, we have a huge test in front of us to see that be a reality.
There's been a lot of commentary from the Dutch side. Some of the pundits over here seem to be writing your team off. How do you react to that? What sort of message do you take from that and send to your players?
No, it's fine. Listen, we expect it. The other team needs to be confident. They're in their home stadium, and the first game was a draw. We don't read too much into that. We know that we have to perform, I feel, better than we performed last week if we want to go through. This team is due a big performance, so it's there. The opportunity for us is clear. Team selection won't be too far from last week. There won't be too many surprises, but across our squad we do have a variety of options in the final third. We need to be better with the ball this week. I think we created chances regardless last week from the small amount of possession that we have compared to normal, but no, going away in Europe, you know you're going to need to be strong defensively first, and then you have to take your opportunities when they come. I believe that this is a game where both teams will have opportunities, and it's the team that's the most decisive that will go through.
If you were to score first or take the lead at any point, do you think that might unnerve them?
I think their crowd will be behind them, just like ours was at Ibrox. Now that can do one or two things. I felt last week at times we were a little bit emotional in the game, so it can unnerve you as much as it can be a big help. I think the coaches have changed for both teams, and there wasn't many players last week who were playing that was involved in those games, but I'm sure everybody is aware of what happened, and the motivation for this game is equal as last year. I don't see it being any bigger on both sides. I think there's been a lot read into that, but the group of players that are going out there, the prize of getting to the Champions League is enough. A hugely exciting week if you're a Rangers player and you're a Rangers follower, and I'm no different as the coach. You know, the two games we've got coming up now in the next 4 or 5 days is what it's all about, playing for this club. If you can't enjoy it, and you can't, seize the opportunity that's in front of you, then you probably don't deserve to be at our club. This is a huge moment. It's important that we give this game everything. It's a final, if you like.
Do you think there's more pressure on PSV, given they're kind of home in the second leg? Is there more pressure on them?
Well, they have a home game to win to go in the Champions League group stage, so they'll be supremely confident of that, I'm sure. We have to be the thorn in the side.
Michael, how valuable has the last week been in terms of obviously a good weekend performance and getting the squad gelled up a bit better? Do you feel you're in a stronger position now than you were even just last week for the first leg?
Yeah, well, obviously with about 14 or 15 players moving on this summer and 9 new players coming in, the more games you play, you think your team will get stronger, and so it was a good victory at the weekend. It was a clean sheet. It was a step in the right direction in the league, and I was pleased with that. And sat here now without no injuries and everyone in a good place mentally, I think it was the right thing that we played. I think it's to our advantage that we played at the weekend.
Following Scotland's teams in Europe.
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
He slides it home!
Michael Beale there, Tom, speaking with the media yesterday. A huge night and indeed a huge week for him, a week that could lay the foundations for the season.
Yeah, one way or another they will. They're either going through or going out tonight. And depending on that, they'll either have a spring in their step on Sunday or a kind of cloud over their heads. And it's all to be decided tonight. It's a kind of compelling game, compelling prospect. It's about who handles the pressure. PSV will feel quite good about themselves with those numbers, those goals numbers at home I mentioned earlier on. 34 in their last 10 at home, an average of 3.4 goals per game at home over the last 10 games. It's a hell of a return. It's a hell of a side they are when they're on the front foot. I think they'll be on the front foot tonight. You suspect they're going to get 1 or 2. What have Rangers got in reply? As we were saying earlier on, this is a night for Dessers. Dessers has to be, if he gets a chance, he has to take it. He hasn't taken a high percentage of his chances so far since he got to Rangers. Tonight's the night. He has to deliver. Cholak delivered last season. Got one chance, how many chances he got? Maybe just 1 or 2, and he took one. Dessers is the man tonight. and look, they all are. But Dest is your centre forward, and he needs to convert.
Yeah, we've spoken, Stephen, about the pressure on Rangers, but arguably there's even more on PSV this evening. They were favourites to get through at the start of this tie, and of course looking to right the wrongs of last season. A lot of pressure.
Yeah, there's big pressure on them. There's no doubt about that. But you know, there's an optimism amongst the supporters, certainly in this stadium. They feel as though, and Neil's talked about the arrogance, and they've got an arrogance about them. They feel as though that they will win this game. And going to Ibrox last week and coming back with a draw, they would have liked to have had a win, but it means they come here tonight, and it's a one-off game. You're 90 minutes, and it's the same for both teams to qualify. It's a cup final, really, to qualify for the biggest stage in world football, and you're 90 minutes away. And I heard Michael Beale use the term cup final, and that's exactly what this is, and you've got to treat it like that. And it's going to be very difficult, but as I said earlier, Rangers have to make sure that they stem this early tide of pressure, because it's going to be relentless. It's going to be waves of attack, and when they do win the ball back, it's so important they're able to keep hold of it and take a wee bit of pressure off themselves when they do get the ball. Michael Beale spoke about it there in his pre-match from yesterday, saying that they need to be better on the ball, and he's right, because certainly in that first half last week, when Rangers did have the ball, they didn't use it well enough and didn't control it and didn't take the sting out of the game when they had the ball. And that's important tonight, because you can't simply defend in your own 18-yard box for 90 minutes of a match. You've got to be able to offer something, and I think the full-backs will be key to that tonight. I felt as though Tavernier didn't get forward as much as we normally see him getting forward last week, and that was largely due to Dest and Lang, and I felt as though Dest was, you know, Lang was the big name we were talking about. Dest came in for his debut last Tuesday evening, and I felt as though he was brilliant going down that left-hand side. It's a big threat they've got, and on the other side, Barisic's delivery is so good, but he needs to get forward to be able to do that. And can he get forward when he's been pinned back by Bakayoko, who's such an incredible talent? That's going to be a really interesting duel tonight, as the full-backs for Rangers coming up against the PSV Eindhoven wide players. That could be where, for me, the match could be won and lost.
Yeah, we can really hear the atmosphere building there in Eindhoven. Kick-off is 8 o'clock. Let's then hear from the PSV manager, Peter Bosz. He spoke with the media yesterday.
I'm always full of confidence, and still I think we have good players. We showed already this season that we can play good. We have individual players who can side a game. So therefore I have a lot of confidence. But on the other hand, we saw what is Rangers capable of. So we have a lot of respect for the opponent, and we must be really focused and play at 100% to finally win this game. But I think if both teams don't make mistakes, it will be 0-0.
Yeah.
So in games there's always players who make mistakes. Sometimes we try to force players to make mistakes by pressing them, and yeah, this is what football is about. And don't make so many mistakes. And if you make the mistakes, try to make them in areas where it is not immediately dangerous. Players learn from the mistakes they make, and we make some mistakes last week. If we do that better, it will help us a lot for the game that we're going to play. And no, every game there is a healthy tension. It's something that you look forward to. These kind of games are the best games you can play or manage. And so let's enjoy, and hopefully we win this game. Of course, now we're playing in front of our fans, which is a big difference when you play in Glasgow. So this will be affecting the game, absolutely. But on the other hand, I still believe that we will have more the ball than Rangers. It's all about what we're doing with the ball once we have the ball.
Peter Bosz there, Neil. It was interesting listening to his post-match media conference last week. We were having a laugh up in the gantry. The journalists were certainly getting stuck in. No doubt huge expectations on him and his team this season.
Yeah, without question. Cool customer though.
Oh yeah, he speaks really well, doesn't he?
Really calm, assured, super confident. I really enjoy listening to him. I don't think he's in any way disrespectful. He's just very happy with his team, expectant, just as the fans are, that if they play to their capabilities, he feels that they've got enough there to come through in this tie. I think he gave Rangers and Ibrox massive respect. I don't think that can be said for all of the players, however. I did hear one or two of those players saying, the ball was always in the sky and it was kicking into the stands. And
yeah,
there's
a bit of a narrative developing.
Yeah, but that's the usual rubbish that you hear. And there's nothing wrong with going longer. You can have a longer pass, Kenny. It doesn't mean you see you're smashing it into the mixer sort of thing. You can have longer passes, and that can take out a midfield press. And I think those remarks were a wee bit disrespectful. There's more ways to win a game of football than just getting it on the carpet and playing it around. And there's a lot of sexy football teams out there that don't win anything. So it's about getting a job done. It's about getting a big prize, which is qualification for the Champions League tonight. And I don't think Rangers will walk out of the PSV arena there with any apologies being handed out if they went and won this one in a manner that maybe didn't excite the PSV players or fans in a football perspective.
Yeah, kick-off is fast approaching. We mentioned Tom English, a huge week for the Rangers manager Michael Beale. Of course, that Old Firm game live on Sports Sound on Sunday. Some news just coming in.
Yeah, Celtic have made a signing, long touted signing, Luis Palma, the highly rated Honduran winger. Just reading their Celtic Football Club official Twitter account here. Highly rated Honduran winger Luis Palma joined Celtic on a 5-year deal subject to international clearance. He's 23. So that's a big play from Celtic tonight.
Yeah, full coverage of that game on Sunday. It's European action for you tonight. So just quickly around the guys for their predictions ahead of kick-off. Just 3 minutes away. Stephen Thompson, you believe this is going to be very, very tight tonight with both teams scoring?
Yeah, I do. I think I wouldn't be surprised if we had extra time, but I do think it will be a scoring match. So I'm going to bottle it and say a draw extra time.
For yourself, Neil, you were saying the early exchanges are key, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I don't like playing the prediction game. I think if Rangers get their tactics right tonight and they show bravery, I think they'll go through. I do. But they have to really, really stem the flow of PSV's game, break it up, don't give them possession football, and when it's there to take your opportunity, they have to take it. We've discussed it tonight.
Yeah, I think Rangers are going to, as we said earlier, have to produce something we haven't seen from them. PSV, I can't see beyond it.
Well, they've done it before. Can they do it again? It's time now to sit back and enjoy the action. It's PSV against Rangers for a place in the group stage of the Champions League with Stephen Thompson and Liam McLeod.
Thanks, Kenny. Good evening. Could be quite the roller coaster evening for the Rangers supporters, this one. If last year here in this city is anything to go by, it certainly will. Antonio Colak scoring the only goal of the game to put Rangers through 3-2 on aggregate. He has since departed for Parma in Italy. And 4 of Rangers starting 11 tonight started a year ago here in the Philips Stadion. Those being Tavernier, Goldson, Barisic and Lundstrom, who will form a big part of the Rangers side this evening. Butland in goal. They've got Tavernier, Goldson, Suter and Barisic. The middle two were excellent in the first leg in Glasgow last week. With Cifuentes, Lundstrom and Raskan behind Cantwell, who will support Matondo and Dessers. 2 changes from the first leg. 2 changes as well, in fact, from Dingwall on Saturday with Kemar Roof, a goal scorer in that game, not in their squad for this Champions League playoff. PSV, one enforced change from last week. Andrew Lamalo is fit enough for the bench. The Brazilian centre-back, who we've seen come up against Celtic when he was at Salzburg. He's a big player for PSV, but he's only fit enough to be listed among the subs tonight. His place goes to one of their summer signings in Yerdy Schouten, who is a midfield player generally speaking, but it does look as though he's going to go into the back four. So we know PSV can be got at, and perhaps particularly so if they have an unnatural player playing in that position tonight. We shall see. We've got Benitez in goal. It's Tays, Schouten, Buscali and Dest across the back. Saibari, Sangari and Veerman, Bakayoko and Lang and De Jong, the skipper and the main man for them. Just about ready to go. The Spanish referee this evening looking to blow the first whistle any second now. It is Jose Maria Sanchez Martinez, who's in the middle. Rangers in the all blue will go from left to right. Todd Cantwell's going to produce the first touch of this second leg. Rangers, as we watch from up high at the back of the main stand here above the dugouts, will shoot from left to right, and it was that goal that they're attacking in this first half that they scored into in the second half last year, as Cantwell's first ball was back to Lundstrom, who pumps it long down the right hand side before it's headed forward by Serginho Dest, who arrived on loan from Barcelona on the eve of the first leg. Long ball forward for Rangers. Cifuentes gives chase, and it's put out for a throw-in on this near side to Rangers, who are beginning this game on the front foot. That will be exactly what Michael Beale will want. He'll want his players to try and quieten down this boisterous home support, Stephen.
Yeah, that's exactly it, Liam. You know, you expect PSV are going to come out and get after Rangers, but as long as they can keep the ball in the PSV half, then the manager will be more than happy with that.
PSV in their traditional colours, the red and white, red shirts, white shorts, white socks. There's the throw-in for them, actually, for Dest. Goes up the line, it's nodded into the midfield. It breaks over to the left of the centre circle for Barisic, who heads forward. Both he and Tavernier had difficult nights at Ibrox last week, as Cantwell fires it into the feet of Tavernier on this near side. Back to Lundstrom midway inside the PSV half, then to Tavernier. Clever ball, dink with the left foot to the right-hand side of the box. Cifuentes, who drives it across, and it's cleared right on the 6-yard line by Tays. It's really good play by Rangers, and it's going to be a free kick, I think, here for PSV just outside the centre circle as they tried to counter.
Yeah, what a start from Rangers it really was. A fantastic ball from Tavernier over the top, a great run from Cifuentes. He flashes it right across the face of the 6-yard line. For me, I think Matondo should have been busting himself to get in between the two centre halves. Dessers had made a more front post run, if you like, and Matondo, I think, has got to get ahead of the other centre half in there. But a really bright start from Rangers.
Just Rabbi Matondo's 13th start for Rangers, as another free kick was against them here. The previous one was Raskan, and Cantwell just kicked the ball away there. He'll need to be careful.
Well, he was lucky in the first leg, that's for sure. He was already on a booking and he went into that wild challenge.
Oh yeah.
The referee definitely did him a favour with that one.
A couple of minutes in here to this second leg then, 2-2 after last week's game at Ibrox. It's out with Tays on that right-hand side. Down the line for Bakayoko, they're going to get back onto it. Covering was Barisic. Suter's ball gives it away, but the referee has blown his whistle and given Rangers a free kick this time over on that far side, and Barisic is the beneficiary.
Yeah, I think Suter's lucky there. I didn't see too much in that foul. Suter just a wee bit slack with the pass.
Peter Bosch watching on in his seat, the PSV coach, got the better of Rangers a couple of times in recent years. He's in charge of Bayer Leverkusen, and they knocked them out of the Europa League, and he was also in charge of the French side Lyon when they faced Rangers in the groups of that competition a couple of seasons back. Rangers would go on to the final, as the ball down this near side for Dest was asking too much. It was Joey Thierman's pass. It's going to be a throw-in to Rangers on this near side. So they've come through the first few minutes of the game, and they've seen plenty of the ball. That was just shy of 70% PSV possession last week in the first leg, as Barisic rolls it down the left-hand side. Matondo, wonderful turn by Rabbi Matondo, the pirouette. Now he's driving down the far side. Looked like the ball had gone over the line there, but the linesman hasn't flagged. Down goes Matondo, and the free kick's been given.
He's done so well there, Liam. Really, really well. It's what I was speaking about before the game. He can take Rangers up the pitch with his pace. His first touch and turn, he's full of confidence. He's reborn, and he turns and drives Rangers 30 yards, wins the free kick. Exactly why he's in the team.
Exactly why they signed him. He's taken a while to bed in. A couple of niggles last season as well, but what an impact he made on the first leg last week. Free kick Rangers then. It's about level with the edge of the centre circle over on that left-hand side. A couple of yards from the touchline. Barisic, big, long, deep ball into the PSV box. It's headed away. Only as far as Tavernier. Let's fly. It's blocked by Dest. And out for a throw-in on this near side to Rangers. It's been a really bright start by them.
Brilliant start, Liam. Really good start. Again, keeping the ball in the PSV half. Tavernier takes his touch. It wasn't really set for the shot, but he took it on anyway, you know, given his confidence of where he was scoring from at the weekend with an unbelievable finish. He's got every right to take that on.
It was a fabulous strike, wasn't it?
Oh, aye.
As Tavernier waits to take the throw-in. And bowls it looking for Dessers. trying to hold off Sangare, and he's done well enough there. Sangare is a battler and he tries to win it back. Tavernier helps Dessers out. Lundstrom, little flick for Dessers, comes through Cantwell and breaks the Raskan as he burrows his way out to this right-hand side. Tavernier's cross is poor and it's easily cleared by Pascali. Out into touch for a Rangers throw-in on this near side as we hit 5 minutes, 0-0.
If you remember back to the first leg last week, Rangers, the first 5 minutes did start like this. They started on the front foot and then PSV kind of ground them down with the ball in possession. But Rangers, it's so important that they try and keep this going because it's been a great start, and silencing this crowd is going to go a huge way to helping them through this tie.
Little flick by Dessers in towards the box, but it'll be comfortably cut out this time by the Frenchman Pascali. Squares it to Schouten right of the D, now forward to Bakayoko on that right hand side. Young Belgian in field to Sangare, scored in both his visits to Ibrox this season and last. It's out with Serginho Dest on this left hand side, just rolling it back into his own half for Veerman, and into the middle it goes for Schouten, who will then move it to the right of the centre circle. Taze to Bakayoko on that right hand side, back to Taze, and then infield he switches it right to left of the centre circle for Pascali. Low ball along the grass out to the left hand side. First chance for Noah Lang to impress, and he doesn't impress because he's overhit the pass and put it behind harmlessly for a Rangers goal kick. Nothing each.
Yeah, it was a poor pass from him. Dest had made a fabulous run, just put far too much on the ball.
And PSV Eindhoven, former European Cup winners, of course. They won in the very late 80s. Having previously won the UEFA Cup in the late 70s. Here is Cifuentes, first time ball, looking for Matondo. The execution of the ball was pretty woeful in the end there from Cifuentes, and Matondo's begging for that to be put into his path.
Big chance there, Liam. Honestly, Matondo was in acres of space. I think he had held his run. Cifuentes has to be able to just fire that into him. It wasn't that difficult a pass, and Matondo would have been away with his pace.
So with Dest on this near side, PSV beginning to see more of the ball now as Dest is challenged by Tavernier, who puts it out for a throw-in to the home team on this near side. The PSV number 8. Bowling it back to Pascali and then to Schouten, who I've already seen move into his more comfortable midfield position a couple of times, and then remembering he's playing at centre-back tonight. As it's picked up by Pascali and then rolled out to the left for Dest, and infield for Lang. Tricky footwork just gets him away from Lundstrom and Cantwell into the centre circle. Veerman tries to switch it out to Bakayoko. Poor headed away by Barisic. The cross ball from Saibari's cut out and out for a throw-in to PSV Eindhoven, about level with the Rangers penalty spot over on that right-hand side.
You hear the reaction it gets from the crowd. I mean, they didn't really do anything, but they've managed to get up the pitch onto kind of Rangers' final third. It was a poor clearing header from Barisic, giving the ball straight back to PSV.
Pascali for PSV in the Rangers half to Veerman, rolls it out to Bakayoko. Barisic trying to close him down. Bakayoko facing Barisic, looking up for a cross ball, and he wins the corner. It's the first of the night. He goes to PSV Eindhoven, and getting into their stride now.
Yeah, a wee bit, Liam. This is where the Rangers have got to be so switched on. De Jong's movement in the box is so dangerous. Connor Goldson's going to go and man mark him, but as we saw last week with Suter, you can't give this guy an inch in the box.
He's been there, seen it and done it, has Luuk de Jong as the corner comes in towards him, and he does win the header, but it's a difficult one for him to try and work the neck muscles and get it on target as he heads it well past, and it stays 0-0, but de Jong managed to work loads of space for himself inside the box.
I don't quite know what happened to Connor Goldson there. Completely lost the run of de Jong. I don't know whether he was blocked, but he ended up 3-4 yards away from him. It was a difficult header for de Jong to get any real accuracy on it.
Here comes de Jong from Lang to Sangare, looking for Lang again. Tavernier puts it behind for the corner. He's had an optimistic look at the referee, appealing for a goal kick, but it is a PSV corner. It's their second in quick succession.
I'm not sure he had to give the corner away there, Tavernier. I felt as though he could have gone back to the goalkeeper, but he's obviously not taking any risks. Another corner kick, in-swinger this time from the right-hand side.
Yeah, the Rangers right. This is the PSV left as it comes into the 6-yard area, flicked away by John Lundstrom as it was flashed across towards the 6-yard box.
Foul.
by Veerman, and then the free kick's given to Rangers over on the far side. The Rangers supporters over there, just behind this free kick. They're up in the top corner off to our left, top tier, which is enclosed. It's got the big segregation all the way around it to keep them penned in.
There's not been any flares this year. Last year there was loads of flares in the ground.
We saw 3 teams come through the playoffs last night: Galatasaray, Braga, Young Boys of Switzerland, all getting through to the group stage of the Champions League via the playoffs. Indeed, former Rangers striker Cedric Etienne was on the score sheet for Young Boys in that game as they swept Maccabi Haifa side 3-0 on the night. The first leg was 0-0. Rangers looking to join them. It's Tavernier to the centre circle. Raskan can't control it. Saibari pinches it off, and now De Jong rolls it to Bakayoko. Back in field for Joey Veerman. They want him to shoot. He does, and it's beaten away by Butland. That was hit from just outside the D by Joey Veerman. It's the first real shot in anger by any of the sides tonight in this huge second leg for a place in the Champions League, and he certainly got behind it.
He did. It was a comfortable save for Butland in the end, but slack from Rangers in the middle of the park. Wanting too much time in the ball, got it nicked off them. It was never really going to trouble Jack Butland.
He had a couple of saves last week. I think it was 19 shots overall, PSV. Only 5 of those hit target. 2 of them obviously went in. Sangare and De Jong goals. A long ball forward, and it's De Jong who flicks on. Tavernier gives chase. Now Noah Lang gets there first, driving down the left-hand side and winning the throw-in level with the Rangers 6 on this near side.
Yeah, it was a good flick on from De Jong. Noah Lang driving it. Tavernier defended it well at the expense of a throw-in down here.
Serginho Dest over it. It's actually a few yards further back. It's a bit level with the penalty spot. He bowls it back to Bascali. First time ball forward to Sangare, then back to Schouten, who's on it again. Got 2 bites at that. The first pass didn't find its man, and then it's laid off towards the box for Saibari, cut out by Tavernier. And a little cushion header from the clearance on the halfway line by Bascali into the midfield for Sangare, who's tripped by Lundstrom, and that will be a free kick to PSV inside, just inside Rangers territory. 12 minutes in, 0-0.
Yeah, you can see they're starting to pop it about a wee bit more. They're getting their passing game going. I was really impressed in the first leg with some of their passing play. So crisp, one-touch passing. Just starting to grow into the game a wee bit, PSV.
Yeah, they're a good side. That's the first game this season they haven't won, though. It was the first leg. 100% record before that as the ball has slipped through towards Saibari, and had it not been for John Suter, that was probably finding him. Dessers with a flick, couldn't find Raskan. PSV lose it immediately though, and Suter is tripped to the ground by Saibari, and that's going to be a free kick to Rangers left of the centre circle.
Yeah, Dessers has got to secure possession when it comes up to him. Trying to flick there, didn't come off. Luckily for him, Rangers got possession back. John Suter just down just now. I don't know. He was just kind of clipped to the back of his heels. Hopefully he's okay. Yeah, he's getting to his feet now.
You're getting a replay of the Veerman shot
yeah,
there.
I felt as though Butland probably could have held it. You know, he decides to palm it away, obviously not taking any chances early on in the game, but he got enough distance and direction in the palm away for it not to cause any problems.
PSV haven't lost a competitive match since Sevilla knocked them out of the Europa League last season. 3-0 in mid-February, that was 23 games ago. They haven't lost a competitive home match since last November when they were beaten 1-0 by AZ. That was their only home defeat since Rangers beat them here, so they've got a really good home record as Dest. Lovely skill to shimmy away from Cantwell, but he rolls it out of play unintentionally on this near side, and it'll be a Rangers throw-in.
He's got great feet, he really does. I mean, for a left back, he plays more like a left winger at times. Some of his interplay last week with Lang down the left was absolutely superb. Although I would say the final delivery just wasn't there for them. As much as they were impressive, never really tore Rangers apart with a final pass or a final delivery into the box.
He was born in the Netherlands, Dest, but he plays internationally for the USA. Came up against the Dutch at last year's World Cup, in fact, as Tays picks up on the right, passes it straight off the foot of Matondo. Now Barisic can get it into the path of Matondo down the left, but too much on it.
Doesn't
and
need
that allows Schouten to cover across and put it out for a Rangers throw.
He doesn't need to put that much on the pass. I've no idea why he does. Just slip it into Matondo's feet, maybe just in front of him, and let him go and run. He was free one-on-one with the fullback, which is where you want him because of his pace.
but encouragingly for Rangers, Matondo's finding that space
that's
a few
good
times
point.
now in the opening 15 minutes.
He has, and with better service to him, it could have been a whole lot better for Rangers. Just a wee bit untidy.
Throwing down the left-hand side, Dessers with a flick onto the chest of Cantwell. It's cleared by Bakayoko, who's back doing a defensive job there. It comes to Raskan, to Matondo, to the left-hand side. It's a dink ball in towards Dessers. It just evades him, though. As Barisic clipped it in with the left peg. It comes right through to Benitez, the goalkeeper, who lashes it forward out to this near side. Lundstrom's header finds Tavernier. They've worked that really well between them there. It's a good, confident start by Rangers, this. I know PSV have enjoyed most of the possession in the last 10 minutes. Rangers started well in the opening 5 and saw plenty of it in PSV territory.
Yeah.
But they're playing with a little bit of a swagger here.
They are indeed, Liam, and it's a better start than I was expecting them to have. You can hear the PSV crowd. The longer it goes, the more anxious.
A man down.
Yeah, the longer it goes, the more anxious this crowd are going to get. And Rangers' bright start. I mean, the thing is, they think that this game's going to be won easily.
Well,
with the local press and.
I don't know if you saw Raphael van der Vaart's comments about Rangers specifically and Scottish football generally. He was extremely disparaging. I think he was on the telly the other night here, might have been at the weekend, but he was fairly slaughtering the standard of play by Scottish teams. In fact, he actually uttered the sentence, "I don't like Rangers."
Did he?
Yeah.
Did he?
So, of course, began his career at Ajax, one of PSV's big rivals. They've got a man down. It's Dest, who's just being helped back to his feet by a combination of the medical team and Rangers midfielder Cifuentes.
I think he just got poked in the eye by Cifuentes, trying to just hold the ball out and just kind of caught him. It should be okay.
He's going to be back on in just a moment as Dest. And the referee has the ball over there for an uncontested drop, and Jack Butland will be in possession now. He just gathers in his hands, drops it down and then launches it forward with the right foot down this near side. Dest is underneath it, back on the pitch, heads it forward, as does Songare. And then his header goes straight to Tavernier up the line, looking for Dessers, who puts plenty of pressure on Pascali, and Dessers has been penalised there. I think that was a decision made by the assistant rather than the man in the middle on this occasion, and Dessers has his arms outstretched, asking what on earth that was for.
Yeah, but I agree, I don't think there was much in it at all.
Pascali's felt that was the slightest touch and he's gone down.
Hasn't he?
Chance here for PSV then on the ball with Pascali. Was back the way though to Schouten, and then to Veerman, just flirting with the edge of the centre circle, finds Taze out to the right hand side for Bakayoko, just slipping the ball in field for the Moroccan Saibari. Back the way to Veerman, right footed, guides it out to this left hand side for Dest, faced by Cifuentes, just moving it back the way to Pascali and then to Schouten as PSV move it from left to right, right to left and back again to try and find a way through this Rangers defence. Barisic wrestled to the ground by Bakayoko, but it's going to go the other way. I think Barisic was impeding Bakayoko more than the other way around, so free kick PSV and a chance for them to flight this in on top of the Rangers penalty area.
Yeah, I'm not sure he meant it, Bakayoko. If he did, it was a great attempted piece of skill, knocking it round Barisic and going round the other side of his body. Barisic bringing him down. Definite foul, no question, it was a foul.
Huge group of players on the 18-yard line. Plenty blue shirts back. In fact, everyone's back to defend this for Rangers, as PSV look to profit from this free kick. Now comes the movement in the box. In comes the free kick. It's come off a PSV heading with Songare as it comes out to this near side of the box, out the touchline with Noah Lang. The exciting summer signing, in fact the record signing for PSV, as the ball is angled into the area to the right hand side of it. It's flicked away, but Bakayoko's going to keep it in play on the far side. Swings the cross in, what a ball! De Jong meets it and puts it wide, and it will stay PSV 0, Rangers 0 in the 20th minute.
Well, in first viewing for me, he's got to score it. He really does. He's only a couple of yards out at the back post. The ball evaded everyone who was on top of Tavernier. and you're just thinking that it's going to go into the keeper's bottom right-hand corner. The ball in was absolutely superb, curling right in on top, and it just over Goldson's head. Just seeing the replay now, oh, that's a big chance. You'd expect him to score that. Huge let-off for Rangers.
Best chance of the game so far falls to PSV Eindhoven. Rangers in possession, Suter out to the left-hand side for Barisic. He goes long, flicked into the centre circle, Dessers. And it breaks to Buscali, long ball forward, will come all the way through to Butland. He will remain goalless here in the Philips Stadion in the City of Lights, Eindhoven. Paris is called that as well. This is the original City of Lights, the big light bulb city. As it's picked up on that right-hand side by Schouten. It's well defended by him, actually, under pressure from Dessers. Sangari rolls it back the way to Buscali. Short ball to Schouten, to Buscali again. And he just has a look up and sees what's ahead of him. Lang makes a run, but Buscali decides to roll it back to his goalkeeper. And it's with Benitez at his feet at the edge of his own penalty area.
Rangers are doing really well at cutting off angles for passes for PSV. A few occasions now, PSV midfielders or fullbacks or centre-halves have picked the ball up and they're looking for movement, looking for passes in front of them. And Rangers have done really well at blocking those off.
Tondo runs the ball out for a PSV throw-in on the far side, which will be bowled back the way to Sangari by Taze. And now it's picked up by Schouten, out to Buscali on this left-hand side. First time ball's poor as he tried to find Dest, but he's put it out for a Rangers throw-in on the near side, and Rangers will be delighted if PSV players are making unforced errors like that throughout this match. As Tavernier prepares to take. He's about midway inside his own half. On the Rangers' right. PSV supporters not happy with the length of time that Tavernier's taking, but off the ball, Todd Cantwell and Serginho Dest have gone head-to-head. The referee coming over to sort it out now. I'm not sure what was going on between those two there.
I was watching the thrower. I didn't see it. There's a wee replay, Liam. They just bang into each other. There's absolutely nothing in it.
It's going to be a throw-in then for Tavernier. Just bowls it infield to Lundstrom. Under pressure from Sembari. Thinks he was being impeded there. The referee doesn't agree, but Rangers are in possession anyway. Suter to Barisic down the left-hand side touchline there for Matondo. Who's being chopped at there by Taze. That's a Rangers free kick as he was trying to fell the Rangers player.
Did well to win the foul because he was actually in a bit of bother, really. He was facing his own goal, didn't really have many options. Won the foul.
Massive week of European action here on Sportsound and across BBC Scotland. Of course, tomorrow, Aberdeen live on the telly and here on the radio as they take on Häcken in the Europa League playoff. 2-2 from the first leg in Sweden. It's a 7:45 kickoff. Pauk Hearts 2-1 to the Greek side. 6:30 kickoff live here on Sportsound. We'll have updates of Hibs' trip to Aston Villa as well. In the Conference League, the Edinburgh clubs. Cantwell back to Lundstrom. And then to Cantwell again on this near side, trying to hold off his man midway inside the PSV half, being forced back the way to halfway as he is eventually brought to the ground by Veerman. That's a Rangers free kick, and I don't think that Joey Veerman can have too many complaints, to be honest.
No, but it was a really good spell for Rangers in terms of keeping possession of the ball. 9-10 passes, looking confident, moving the ball really, really well down this right-hand side. Definite foul for Cantwell. He's been quiet so far in the match. As Todd Cantwell, not really managed to have an impact on it yet, but he's doing his job off the ball well.
Yeah, he was certainly active at Ibrox last Tuesday night. Lundstrom with the free kick, rolls it into the left of the centre circle for Suter, into the PSV half he goes, out to the left-hand touchline for Barisic. Down the way for Matondo, looking to hit the byline here, Rabi Matondo. Taze for company, Bakayoko helping out as well. Matondo trying to at least win a corner down there. He's eventually been outnumbered and outmuscled, and then he fouls Jordan Taze, who's unhappy with the challenge by Matondo. It did look quite cynical. I think he was just a little bit frustrated and he wasn't able to win the corner down there, and he's petulantly tripped his man to the ground. 24 in, 0-0.
Yeah, he should have tried to have a swing at it, but when it comes back out and the ball's stuck in the corner there, he really is. He's just pulling Taze back. definite foul.
Here's PSV on the ball on this near side with Boscali. Level the edge of the D of his own penalty area, infield to Veerman. Gets it from Schouten and now to Taze, who rolls it with the right foot out to Bakayoko, just inside the Rangers half, taking on Barisic. Back to Sangari, and then to the right of the centre circle for Schouten, forward to Bakayoko, the PSV number 11. It's now with Veerman to Schouten, and then to the left of the circle. Boscali out to the left-hand side for Dest, up against Cifuentes. Trying to stick to Serginho Dest as much as he can. Veerman, it's a really clever ball, and Barisic had to get there with the left foot because that was dropping Saibari's way, and he would have been in potentially on Jack Butland at that point, right-hand side of the box.
He definitely would have been in, Liam. It was a fantastic pass, but you've got to credit Barisic for the defending as well. He gets there, reads the situation.
Bakayoko wide on the right, swings a ball in, it's just a bit too high for De Jong, who pretty much waved that goodbye, but Sangari was in behind him as well, and Butland holds on. It stays PSV 0, Rangers 0, and 2-2 on aggregate.
Such a dangerous cross from Bakayoko, swinging it in really into a dangerous area. It just goes over the top of De Jong, and yeah, Sangari just a wee bit late arriving into the box.
There's Veerman again for PSV, left-footed, square ball, rolled to Bakayoko. Now to Sangari, who gets it back again. Out to the right-hand side, Taze, right foot cross comes in, headed clear by Goldson.
What a touch.
Yeah, lovely little first-time ball, the outside of the boot by Sangari. He made that look hell of a easy. And as Bakayoko moves it back to the edge of the centre circle for Boscali to Dest, and then worked out to Noah Lang on this near side, on the left-hand side. Into the penalty area goes Lang.
Well done.
And he's lost out to Tavernier. And a break to Cifuentes. Forward to Lundstrom, to Cantwell. Tries to prod it back towards John Lundstrom, read by Boscali. The referee blows the whistle, and he's brought it back for a Rangers free kick. I thought plenty of play had gone on at that point before the referee decided to bring it back because he felt Rangers couldn't take advantage of the situation.
Yeah, they'll take it though. They'll take it by Rangers. Just before that, it was really good defending from Tavernier. Noah Lang running at him full speed. He's got to keep his eye on the ball. Just gets a toe in.
Chance here for Rangers down the left with Matondo. Wins the throw-in, level with the PSV 18. Over there, Rangers won just 2 of their 10 European matches last season. One of them, of course, was right here. As Cantwell tries to win it back over there, but he can only give away the goal kick on the left-hand side of the box. And it will stay goalless in this second leg after 27.
Yeah, we're approaching the half-an-hour mark, and you've got to say I think Rangers have done really, really well. Obviously, that one chance, the De Jong header, was a lucky escape. But out with that, I think their shape's been good. I think they've been organised. I don't think this old PSV have put them under too much pressure, and they are frustrating this PSV team.
That's what they're going to have to do. As Barisic wins it over on the left. Infield is Raskan, who knocks it forward, but he can't find Cantwell. And it comes right through to Boscali. We watched Nicolas Raskan doing a tremendous performance against Servette in Geneva a couple of weeks ago in the second leg in the last round. And they need him to be as tireless tonight. As Dest picks up wide on the left. He's level with the 18 now, left-hand side. It's the cross in, headed away by Goldson. Then Cantwell helps it on its way towards Dessers, who's not seen much action in the opening 28 and a half minutes. The Rangers striker.
No, I mean...
but then Colak didn't see much last year, and of course he came up with a goal.
He didn't. In terms of Rangers as an attacking force, we've not seen too much from them in PSV's final third, but you know, they don't need to push for that right at this minute in time.
Little push by Cantwell and Boscali.
Obvious push.
Yeah, PSV free kick. Around about the halfway line. Veerman takes it, rolls it into Schouten in the centre circle. The auxiliary centre back, the Yerdy Schouten, who was playing with Lewis Ferguson at Bologna last season. He was in the same midfield. He brought to the club one of their big money buys in the summer. Spent a fair amount on loan fees as well for Serginho Dest and Malik Tillman. Taze picks up right of the centre circle, down the right-hand side for Bakayoko, taking on Barisic, moves in field, finds Sangari. Now Saibari, he loses out. Lundstrom has it. Now Cantwell has done brilliantly. Raskan, Matondo would have been offside had that come through to him. It was cut out anyway. Here's Saibari, good close control. Barisic comes in, makes the challenge and clears, but PSV come right back at Rangers here. Veerman's been caught, advantage given, because they're still in possession. Bakayoko to Dest, and he plays it back off Bakayoko, and behind it goes for a goal kick. PSV fans want a corner, but I'm up the back of the main stand here, and it looked like a goal kick to me.
Yeah,
it stays 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, just before that, lovely bit of play by Raskin, a wee 1-2, and again, that option of a pass to Matondo on this left-hand side. It was wide open, and I think you were right to point out he just strayed offside, but that's the third time that it's been a misplaced pass, when all you need to do is just lift it into the area and let them get after it. It is their best outball without a doubt.
It's Connor Goldson on the near side. De Jong has won it off him, so strong. De Jong finds Veerman, he's going to get it back from Saibari, looks up, the right foot shot from Veerman goes over the bar. And a couple of his teammates are left annoyed at him. Serginho Dest made a great run into the penalty area, but it's over the bar, and it stays PSV 0, Rangers 0. But Connor Goldson out-muscled, wrestled off the ball too easily by Luke de Jong.
It's a mistake from Goldson. He doesn't make too many, but that one could have been costly.
It was in a horrible position as well for a centre-back, right out wide on this right-hand side.
He certainly was. What a pass
Goldson's
that is.
gone long, looking for Dessers. It bobbles nicely in front of Dessers, who's in here potentially, left-footed, and he drags it wide of the right-hand post. What a chance for Cyril Dessers, and what a chance for Rangers to take the lead. 31 minutes on the clock. It stays PSV 0, Rangers 0, but Dessers makes a situation that looked so promising for him, looks so difficult in the end, and he puts it past.
The quality of the pass is of the highest level. It really is a sensational pass. Dessers is clean through, one-on-one with the goalkeeper. He doesn't ever look comfortable. He doesn't ever look totally set to hit the shot. We spoke before the game. Neil and I were chatting about how you might only get one opportunity in a match like this, and you've got to take it at this level. That was a decent opportunity. He drags it into the ground and wide of the post. He never looked confident.
Great chance for Dessers. Tom was able to watch a replay of it there. He has been closed down by Jordan Tays, so that there was pressure on him, because
still got to do better, Liam.
He was at one point one-on-one. It stays goalless. Here's Noah Lang up the other end, left-hand side of the Rangers box, the underlapping Dest, who pulls it back. Saibari's shot saved by Butland's foot. Here's Bakayoko, it's still danger. Sangare goes down. No penalty, says the referee. And Rangers were almost made to pay a huge price, having missed that chance. Within seconds, up the other end went PSV. And really, Saibari should have been scoring. There will be a VAR penalty check here now, though, for the challenge on Sangare in the Rangers box by Raskan.
Well, I don't think it's a
Barisic, actually,
penalty.
the final
Absolutely no chance it will be a penalty. But the chance before it, he absolutely has to score. I mean, that's the De Jong one now, and then that chance there, was it Saibari or Sangare? Saibari.
Saibari, yeah.
It's a sitter. It
No
reminded me a
penalty.
wee bit of Matt O'Reilly's one at Celtic Park on Saturday. It's probably 7 yards out. Just pick a corner. What you would say is it's a sensational save from Jack Butland.
Stays nothing each. And Butland thrust out that left boot to make the save, to deny the Morocco international. It was a brilliant opportunity for PSV, and came just seconds after Dessers had one up the other end. And Cyril Dessers actually scored here a couple of seasons ago. He scored 3 times in 2 games for Feyenoord against PSV in 21-22, so he's got good experience of scoring against this opposition, and indeed in this very arena. 33 and a half on the clock, 0-0. And it's now with Dest down the left-hand side, taking on Jose Cifuentes. Rolls it infield for Veerman. He goes back to Pascali and then back to Veerman. Right foot, flip ball forward, looking for Lang. Headed away on his 18-yard line by Connor Goldson. Cantwell's little flick towards Lundstrom. He's lost out to De Jong. Now it's Saibari attacking the Rangers box. Rolls it to the left for Lang. Drops the shoulder, left-footed shot, blocked by Goldson. He's going to go out of play for a PSV throw-in on this near side.
Good defending from Connor Goldson. Read the danger, got across, made the block.
Here is Lang into the box. Veerman, chip ball in, goal! PSV! Saibari scores this time as he nods it past Butland. tie for a third time.
Well, they haven't taken the warning. Only 2 minutes ago down the left-hand side, Saibari misses an absolute sitter. On this occasion here, again, he's in exactly the same area as he was just 2 minutes ago. Nobody picking him up. It's a sensational ball, and it's a good header. But you've got to learn from your mistakes. They've won basically a minute and a half ago. Really, really poor. Really poor.
Saibari taking the plaudits down on this near side, having given his team the lead. And they're just checking the goal. I don't think there'll be anything though for Rangers to hang their hats on here when it comes to the review. But Saibari was excellent at Ibrox in last week's first leg, has given PSV the lead in the second leg, and the game is back on. Dessers pushing it back to Goldson. How do you approach this now, Tom, with your Rangers?
Well, the thing is, Rangers haven't really looked a threat in terms of forward areas. What they can't do is concede another goal. They've got to stay in this game now until half-time. There's 10 minutes to go till half-time. As long as it's 1-0, there's always a chance for Rangers later in the game. They can bring on forward players, they can change the shape and go for it a bit. What you cannot do is go 2-0 down in this tie.
Rangers throwing down on this near side. Twice last week, Rangers managed to find the PSV net. As Tavernier bowls it into Sangare. Zoid used an arm to control there. His ball forward. It's De Jong's header out to this near side for Lang. Sliding in Goldson and out for a throw-in on this near side for the home team. These are crucial seconds and minutes for Rangers. This 36.5 into this second leg. They cannot afford to concede again before the break.
Yeah, it's a big 10 minutes, Liam, this.
Taze looks up, right-footed, long ball. Barisic makes the error. Can he redeem himself? The keeper comes and bails him out, and it stays 1-0 PSV.
Yeah, every moment. Rangers just look a wee bit rocked. Barisic taking a poor touch. Bakayoko inches from getting on the end of it. Thankfully, Butland managed to come out and smother it.
Long ball up towards Dessers on this near side for Rangers. They hold off his man. Eventually, he's challenged by Dest, and out for a throw, and it goes. This will be about level with the edge of the D of the PSV box. Tavernier with the throw-in down the right-hand side here. Cantwell down by the corner flag, and the claim he was fouled there, but he's actually put it out for a PSV throw-in in the end. It's a throw about level with the 6-yard line for Serginho Dest to take. Huge test for these Rangers players now, that's for sure. Cantwell gets a little flick as PSV give it away, but it goes behind for the goal kick. And you just wonder what's going through Cyril Dessers' mind now, Tomo, after it could have been so different for the visitors here.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously Rangers' best opportunity in the game by some stretch. He's got to hit the target. I mean, at this level, you're only going to get 1-2 chances a match. You have to at least work the goalkeeper and hit the target, and he just drags his shot. Never looked confident for me as he was running through. And missed now a couple of big chances. Obviously, Danilo's missed a couple of big chances. Rangers really need one of their forward player strikers to step up to the plate.
Well, twice last week at Ibrox, Rangers led at 1-0 and 2-1, pegged back on both occasions. Of course, they scored that terrific goal just before half-time through Sima. They are behind here though, and there's a stoppage in play just now. I think it's De Jong, is it?
Yeah, it was. Goldson just caught him a wee bit with a kind of flailing arm just as he was heading it. I mean, it won't be the first time De Jong's been hitting the Cooten from a centre half. Should he be all right?
Now, he's had a terrific career, Luke De Jong. This is his 250th appearance for PSV this evening. Over a couple of spells. 18 goals, 10 assists last season. His goal at Ibrox last week was his 5th in 6 appearances.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal player, Liam.
Free kick PSV into the Rangers box it comes, and De Jong wins the header, hits it back along the 6. Rangers clear. Matondo stabs it away, breaks to Taze, flights it into the area, headed away by Tavernier. Veerman out to this near side for Lang, and then back to Veerman. Infield to Schouten, who goes back to the halfway line for Bascali. Left-footed, switch of play out to that right-hand side for Bakayoko. He's going to take on Matondo, stepping away from him, right angle of the box. Low ball crossed in, is cleared by Tavernier. Missed a couple, kind of went through, lasered through a couple of PSV players inside the Rangers box. As it breaks the way of Pascali as we head towards the final 5 minutes of the first half of the second leg. Out to the right-hand side, the goal scorer, Saibari, crosses in, blocked over there by Barisic, and out for a PSV throw-in. It's Jordan Tays takes, and back onto the halfway line for Schouten, who finds Pascali. Well, we saw in Switzerland a couple of weeks ago when Danilo missed that huge chance. Rangers didn't pay the ultimate price for that, and they've still got time to sort this situation out, but it's all PSV right now.
Yeah, it is, and Bakayoko is causing a lot of problems down that right-hand side. He's so left-footed, he comes in his left all the time, so if you're Barisic, you know he's going to do it, but it's really difficult to stop because of his pace and his physicality, and he's put in some wonderful deliveries.
Joey Veerman just outside the centre circle, the right foot out to the left for Dest, turns it back into his own half for Pascali, squares it to Schouten, and then a little ball to his right for Tays. Switches it back out to the left. Dest is on his bike down this near side. Pascali forward, and he's found Noah Lang. Out to Dest now, level with the Rangers 18. Back to Lang, and then back the way to Veerman, and into his own half for Pascali. Short ball into the centre circle for Sangari. He finds Tays. They're looking very, very comfortable right now for PSV Eindhoven.
Rangers have dropped off the game. You know, at the start of the game, Rangers were being a wee bit more forceful in terms of trying to get up into PSV's half. They've dropped off the game. They're allowing PSV time in the ball and possession now, and they will hurt you if you do that.
Bakayoko to Sangari at the edge of the box. De Jong back to Bakayoko, who scuffs it high and wide, and it will stay PSV 1, Rangers 0 as we approach 42 minutes.
Yeah, it's about getting in these, these next 5-6 minutes, whatever's added on, getting in at half time. At 1-0, you're always in a game. You're always in a game. And I think Rangers have got players on the bench who can make an impact, come off in the second half if they push. Just see out these last few minutes here.
Goldson forward to Cifuentes, struggled to get into the game. That came off him last. I think it's going to be a throw into PSV, it is. Dest takes it quickly into the chest of Sangari, chested it straight to Dessers, but gets it back from Dest. Sangari to the right of the centre circle for Tays, out to the right-hand side touchline for Bakayoko, up against Barisic, rolls it forward, Tays gives chase, Matondo reacts well though, wins it back for Rangers, then Barisic puts it back into a dangerous area down by the corner flag and concedes the throw-in, level with the Rangers 6-yard line. Not back to Schouten, then to the right of the centre circle for Pascali. Left foot clipped ball, looking for Bakayoko. Barisic got something onto it by Saibari, picks up the scraps behind him inside the box. To Sangari, to Saibari, back to the edge of the area for Veerman, looks up at the goal and shoots over with a left foot, and it stays PSV 1, Rangers 0.
Sensational pass and vision from Saibari to pick him out at the edge of the box. PSV have had probably 3 or 4 shots from the edge of the box. 2 of them going over the bar, one of them testing Butland, an easy save all the same. But yeah, I mean, Saibari's causing a lot of problems because for the goal, a midfield runner drops him. I think it might have been Raskin. There, he was dropped by one of the midfielders as well. He is a very intelligent player and he picks up good positions on the pitch, but you've got to make sure he's marked.
Lundstrom rolls it back into his own half for Goldson. Rangers seeing some rare possession here. Suter, it's a poor ball by Suter, he's given it straight to Saibari. De Jong loses out though to Raskan. And now it's with Cantwell outside of the boot looking for Tavernier and finding him on this near side. Steps away from one, couldn't quite get away from the other though. Serginho Dest slides in and puts it out for a throw-in to Rangers round about the halfway line down on this near side. We're in the final minute of the opening 45 here at the Philips Stadion in Eindhoven.
Yeah, you know, I spoke about the fullbacks earlier on before the match started and about how important they can be and getting forward the pitch. It's usually one of Rangers' biggest weapons. Not really seen Tavernier too much in the last 30 minutes getting into those areas. Certainly on the other side, Barisic I know he's got Matondo in front of him who's offering that as well. However, you know, Rangers need their fullbacks because their quality of delivery is superb to get higher up the pitch.
It's a poor ball by Dest, and Raskan's onto it. He's chasing it, but Dest will win it back on this near side down by the corner flag as he clears, and out it goes for a Rangers throw-in. They do have mistakes in them at the back. It was a mistake that Rangers profited from here last year as we go into the first of 3 minutes of stoppage time at the end of the first half here. And Rangers trailing 1-0. Tavernier bowls it to Lundstrom, back to Tavernier, then infield for Raskan. Looks up and looks for Matondo with a big switch out to the left.
Take him on.
Now Matondo head down, Barisic goes in the overlap. Poor touch there by Matondo as he totally sold himself short there. He should have probably released Barisic, who was in a good position down the left-hand side of the box to cross. PSV have it back. It's another wasted bit of possession in the final third by Rangers.
And it's the frustration of Matondo from what we've seen of him so far in his Rangers career. He can do something so good, but then he can be so slack at other times as well. He's very unpredictable.
Saibari for PSV to the right-hand side of the Rangers box. Bakayoko looks up, drives it for goal, and across the face he goes, and wide on the reverse side by Bakayoko, who thought he'd scored there going by his reaction. It stays PSV 1, Rangers 0, but they were living a charmed life there. Johan Bakayoko down the right-hand side.
It's not far away. I mean, it's just got too much space and time in the acres. He's dragged it a wee bit, goes a wee bit past the post. It'd been better trying to cross it in. There was a couple of options in the box, goes in his own. He's in a good first half, Bakayoko. That
all stemmed from Matondo's poor touch out on the far side at the other end of the pitch.
Well, this is what happens. You give the ball away against quality opposition and you're going to get hurt. He was out of possession, couldn't get back in it, which allowed Bakayoko the freedom to drift off of Barisic. So, I mean, he should have done better in the first place. He's one-on-one. He's got all the pace in the world. You don't even need a trick. Knock it by the defender and take him on. But he ran straight into him, and that's what caused the problem.
If Rangers can turn this round and find themselves in tomorrow's Champions League draw, they would be in pot 3. If they drop into the Europa League groups, it's pot 2. And there's a threaded through ball for Lang, right-hand side of the Rangers box. Tavernier covers across, Lang's back heel will come right through to Butland, so it's a relief for Rangers, and Michael Beale will just be desperate to get to half-time now with the damage not getting any worse.
Yeah, that's exactly what he wants. Get in and try and come up with a plan to get back in this game.
Just the one down, 3-2 in aggregate, having twice led in the first leg. Here's Veerman in the centre circle, out to Bakayoko wide in the right, up against Barisic. Level with the penalty spot, looks to cross, right foot, it's decent, comes to Lang, left-hand side of the penalty area, couldn't quite get under control, he has it now. He rolls it back to the left angle of the box for Serginho Dest. Shifts away from Cifuentes, finds Lang, tried to be returned to him by Veerman, but he's blocked by Tavernier, who has it, rolls it out to Cifuentes on the near side. I make that about half-time here in Eindhoven as Lundstrom picks up and looks to feed it into the path of Matondo on the left-hand side. Added time this. Rabi Matondo, left-hand side of the penalty area, taking on his man, getting towards the byline, and then just has it nicked off him by Jordan Taze. And that is half-time now at the Philips Stadion. The PSV supporters who cheer, they're here tonight for revenge, having been beaten by Rangers at this stage 12 months ago. It was Rangers who took their place in the group stage of the Champions League, but the Scottish side have got a fair bit of work to do if they're to repeat the feat tonight, because PSV lead thanks to that goal scored by Saibari, the bullet header from the left-hand side. The cross came and Ismail Saibari dived and headed home past Butland. There was nothing the Rangers goalkeeper could do about it. That came just after he had made an excellent save with his foot to deny Saibari. But it could have been so different, because just before that first Saibari chance, Cyril Dessers up the other end was one-on-one at one point. Taze got back to make it a little bit more awkward, but he couldn't even get the shot on target. He dragged it wide of the right-hand post in what was Rangers' best opportunity of this match. They will have to hope that another one will present itself to them in the second half, because at half-time here in Eindhoven, it is PSV 1, Rangers 0, and 3-2 in aggregate.
Rangers in the Champions League playoff round.
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.
Yes, no doubt Rangers are right up against it in Eindhoven this evening. What a chance that was for Cyril Dessers on 32 minutes. 3 minutes later, PSV went ahead. Sembari with a free header there. They had another chance just before that. Jack Butland made a terrific stop. He's been a great signing for Rangers. Neil McCann, your assessment of that first half performance from Michael Beale's side?
A really bright start. I think the boys spoke about it in commentary in terms of that one with Cifuentes goes down the right side. I thought they looked confident in possession. PSV didn't start well, but from 25 minutes on, Kenny, it became a really controlled session from PSV. And we were both sitting here thinking it's only a matter of time. It's poor Saibari. I picked out before the game as probably their best player, and he comes up with a really important moment for him, but really slack from a throw-in, Kenny. And looking at it, looked like 3v2. Cantwell reacts late. I need to look at it again because I was watching the middle of the pitch. But these moments are very, very important. I spoke about moments of the magnitude of the game might creep in quiet moments of matches, whether it be injuries or throw-ins or something like that, or corners, whatever it may be. But you have to do your job, and it looked like to me that there was a 3v2 situation out there that allows Veerman to get a run and pick out the ball into the box, and they're punished. But Rangers set up in that 4-4-1-1, 4-4-2 almost, with Cantwell and Dessers up there, and Cantwell and Dessers have virtually been spectators. I mean, totally ineffective. Dessers had one chance. We've spoken about it before the game a lot, about the importance that you get these chances. Stevie said you might only get one. He snatches at it. It's a huge moment in the game for Rangers. It's massive, because up to that point they had done nothing other than a bright start, and it just shows you small defining moments. If you don't take them, you can rue them. Matondo's shown little flashes, but to be honest, they need to change the shape. It's not working. They need to do something at half-time. And actually, they've got a pedigree there in the last two games in particular that Michael Beale has addressed his team at half-time. He's changed tactics in the second half, and it's been much, much better.
Yeah, they spoke before the game, Tom English, about perhaps they would just get one golden opportunity. We spoke about the striking options available to Michael Beale. Cyril Dessers has had a fairly challenging time since coming in at Rangers. He was getting a bit of the boos from the fans in the game against Livingston. It was when he burst through there, he just never looked confident.
No, he didn't. He struggled to get the ball under control. I'm not sure if it hit his hand as well. And then he just pulls it wide. I mean, you're looking at him and you're thinking he's not going to score here. To fail to hit the target, I think is poor. He needs to force a save out of the goalkeeper, minimum.
Yeah,
he has to. He just has to, and he doesn't. He's pulled it wide. He's made it easy for the goalkeeper, not asked any question at all. And that was really Rangers' chance. And they've been outclassed since then. PSV dominant, easy. Rangers are just passive. Their use of the ball has been awful, giving it away all the time, under pressure, but giving it away, and just asking for these waves and waves of pressure from PSV. It's only one goal, but there's a major gulf in class. You look at the goal. Veerman gets in behind Tavernier, quick, alive to the chance. Saibari runs off Raskin. Just speed of thought, speed of movement, just quicker, slicker. And I really like this PSV team. You look at the age profile of it. Bakayoko's 20, Saibari and Dest are 22, Taze is 23, Lang and Veerman 24. That's a really, really good age profile. And they're sharp players, they're intelligent players. They're not flattered at all by 1-0. It could be 2-3. It might well be 2-3 if the tempo of the first half continues into the second. They're just streets ahead.
I think if you're going to play with 4-4-2, you can play, like I said before the game, Kenny, you can play in a direct manner. I think you need power and pace up top. I think Dessers has certainly got that physicality, probably. He's in good shape. He looks reasonably athletic, but he can't do it himself, and Cantwell's not going to win any headers. It needs to go to the boys' feet. And I think they're getting swamped in the middle of the park. They always seem to have a man over in the middle of the park. It'll be the place Barry plays inside. They've got Sangare, they've got Veerman. Noah Lang comes in the pitch to free Dest. They always seem to have an overload in between the lines of the 4-4-2. Now, if you're going to play with two up top, Sima probably would come into the equation because he can stretch teams. He can go in behind. They're very open, PSV, to me. They've had that chance, for example, Dessa.
Yeah.
And then Matondo's had several opportunities to be slipped in, and the execution of the pass has been poor. So there's space there to hit. This team will go for the jugular. Tom's already reeled off 2s and 3s and 6s and God knows what in terms of banging goals, and they will not sit in a 1-0. They'll go for it. They'll leave spaces. So therefore, I like Cantwell in 10, but I would like to see a 3 in midfield, maybe Cantwell being maybe tucked off the front, and getting someone up alongside Dessers that provides a physicality. It might be a Lammers. Might be something like that you can clip it up and it becomes a fight, a battle. 6'3", the big fella. Then Cantwell can get in touch and use that ability to evade challenges, because he's not robust enough to be physically good enough to hold it in against these players, particularly Sangare. So it needs a change of an adaptation of what they're playing just now. As I said, I thought last week the shape that they chose in the second half was much better, like Servette, and they'll need a similar outlook again, because if they continue in this, it will go 2 and 3 and the tie will go from them.
Yeah, 65% possession for PSV, 10 shots to Rangers 2, 3 on target for the home side, no shots on target for Rangers. No corners either, Tom. And I guess when Michael Beale was thinking before this game, you think, we'll get a chance from set pieces. We know all about James Tavernier's delivery. They've just not had the opportunity.
No, they haven't, because they're giving the ball away all of the time. I mean, their use of the ball has been really, really poor. And they're not really giving themselves a chance to build themselves into the game. They've had one chance, Desser's really nothing apart from that. Apart from, I think before the goal, I thought they defended okay. You know, concentration levels were high. Lang and Bakayoko, they weren't getting into space. And these guys are devastatingly quick. So they weren't under the cosh from out wide. But then it kind of changed. And PSV found a way. And now that they've found a way at 1-0, they've more chances. And Rangers, really, they haven't fired a shot. They're up against a much better team. But they're not putting their best foot forward, Rangers, here. Like, they're not in the game at all. It's a kind of, they're defending their way into a 1-0 defeat. If they're lucky. That's all. They're not aggressive in the match. They're not accurate enough to be in the match. They're just not good enough.
So looking at the options then, Neil, on the bench, you think perhaps Lammers, Sima, again, his goal was exceptional last week, but he never looked entirely comfortable. A bit like Desser's going through. A lot of the time he didn't seem to have the ball under control. Perhaps confidence an issue. Scott Wright, could he perhaps come on and pose a threat? What options does Michael Beale have here?
Well, I mentioned Sima and I mentioned Lammers in terms of the physicality or running in behind. They need to gain territory. They're too deep. They haven't laid a marker. You said there are no corners, no shots. That one was Cifuentes and Tavernier involved in a little build-up where he smashes it across the face. I'm just saying, again, this isn't, please don't think this is a witch hunt, but it's getting smashed across the face. A number 9 goes through the middle of the goals. He runs towards the middle of the posts. That drags centre-backs with him. If it's cut back, Matondo gets a cut back, or a central midfielder. Don't be having your main striker looking for a cutback. But the problem is, that was after, 5 minutes or something. Then afterwards, we haven't seen Rangers get into the territory where they're going to affect the game positively. That's what I mean about the 4-4 hasn't allowed them. They've got a midfield make-up of John Lundstrom, who's an anchor, who's an extra protection to the centre-backs. That, for me, was chosen. I think Lundstrom was chosen because Michael thought that he could maybe advance Tavernier and Barisic, but they haven't been able to get into advanced areas because Noah Lang and Bakayoko have kept them occupied defensively. So therefore, you're asking Raskin and Cifuentes, and none of them, to me, are proper goal threats. Good players, by all means, yes, I agree with you, good players, but it needs more firepower up top to help Dessers. I think he's been really, really isolated. Going back to his chance, to think about guys like Chris Boyd, Kenny Miller, guys when I played with Hearts, John Robertson, like Rod Wallace, they always, Billy Dodds, hit the target. Just what Tom's saying. Make sure you're composing yourself, that you've got one job to make sure you do. Hit the target, make the keeper make the save. He snatches at it and the chance is gone. But maybe that's just because he's had a running exercise to do for the first 35 minutes or whatever that was when he got his chance. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see guys coming on. Lammers and Sima would spring to mind absolutely to me right away.
So Rangers very much on the back foot this evening. Of course, it's a big week of European football for our Scottish teams. 3 more are in action tomorrow night. Full coverage right here on BBC Radio Scotland. Yes, another night of European action for you on Sports Sound tomorrow evening. Stephen Thompson, a guest striker more than any other position. Confidence is key. Cyril Dessers never looked in any way confident when he went through with that opportunity to White get the ball under control, couldn't get the shot on target. What are your thoughts in terms of changes for this second period?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, first and foremost, the pass through was sensational. It was an amazing pass. He couldn't get it down, it wouldn't sit for him. But even then, he just looked hesitant to me. And when you're not confident, you will drag at things, you'll overthink things, and he snatched at it. You know, he didn't look fluid at any point when he was going through, and he missed a couple of chances on Saturday. Honestly, I don't know. I think obviously Danilo's been bought for a big price tag. Maybe this is his moment to shine if you bring him on. The big problem for Rangers is that the more they go forward, the more they're going to leave themselves open to PSV. You know, the more players they commit forward trying to get back in this game. And a second goal for me kills it. I don't think Rangers have got 2 goals in them, not on that first half performance. It's a massive 45 minutes. They're still very much in the game, but the performance level has to improve. I said before the game they have to reach a level that they've not reached so far this season to win this game. They haven't done that. They haven't done that in that first half. It's not been a brilliant performance. It was okay in parts, and there were things to like about it in parts, but ultimately it wasn't good enough. So to find a 45-minute performance now that's going to be of the level that's required to put Rangers into the Champions League group stages, for me, is a big ask.
Like they're in the game theoretically. It's only 1-0. They're in the game, but on the evidence of the first 45 minutes, they're not really in the game at all. You know, they're not creating the chances. They have no control. You'd bet the house that if there's another goal, it's going to go to PSV. I look at the Rangers bench, and I don't see anybody there that you could think can affect this with a recent track record. I don't see anyone there.
I mean, that's damning.
Like
that really is damning. On a night like this, the money that's been spent, and you come out with a statement like that.
Well, listen, I might be wrong, you know. But I don't see much from Lammers so far. Sima, okay, 1 shot, brilliant goal the last day, but not a lot. Danilo, not a lot. You know, Wright, are you going to look to Wright to come on and change the game in Eindhoven? I'm not sure. I struggle to see the saviour on the bench or in the first team, to be honest with you.
Right, we shall find out. Let's get back then. PSV against Rangers, a place in the group stage of the Champions League up for grabs with Stephen Thompson and Liam McLeod.
Rangers' record in the Netherlands before tonight: played 14, won 6 of them, lost 6, drew the other 2. As they look to try and claw their way back onto terms in this tie. As PSV kick off the second half, no changes for either team. PSV going from left to right with the red shirts, white shorts, and the red and white socks. Rangers all in blue as PSV go left to right. Rangers unchanged, as I say. So Michael Beale has elected not to look at the reinforcements yet, but here's a chance for PSV already. Dest pulls it back, comes off Lundstrom, who blocks the resultant shot at the edge of the penalty area. That might well have been goal bound there. I think it was Joey Veerman who hit it. We've got plenty behind the shot as well, as Dest picks up the left angle of the box for Luke de Jong, who wins the corner off Cantwell. Bright start by PSV Eindhoven as they look to try and kill this tie early on here.
Yeah, not the start that Rangers were hoping for at all to this second half. Big chance. Falls to Veerman at the edge of the box. It was actually Goldson that got the block with his knee. It was going on target, I think Jack Butland would have saved it, but an early corner. You can hear the energy in the stadium from the crowd. They want this second goal.
Veerman was over there waving his arms at the PSV fans, getting them to make some noise. In comes the corner, Butland gets fingertips to it, and it's out onto this near side where Bakayoko goes after it. He goes out to play off a Rangers man last for a PSV throw. And this is about level with the edge of the D of the Rangers box. Pulled back the way by Jordan Tays into his own half for Schouten, and then shifts it back out to this near side for Bakayoko. He can't control, and it goes out for a throw-in on this near side. So Butland in goal for Rangers, Tavernier, Goldson, Suter and Barisic, Cifuentes, Lundstrom, Raskan, Cantwell supporting Matondo, and Dessers up front for PSV. Benitez in goal, Tays, Schouten, Pascali and Dest, Saibari, Sangari and Veerman, Bakayoko, Lang and De Jong. Saibari's goal, that as things stand, is taking PSV Eindhoven through to the Champions League groups at Rangers' expense. Here come PSV marauding down that left-hand side, cutting in field. It's rolled back to the edge of the penalty area, chance for two here, but it just evaded Veerman, and then when it dropped just inside the penalty area to him, it looked like he was going to get a shot away. He did, and it scuffed and it was blocked, and it's out for a PSV throw.
Yeah, another bit of good play down that left-hand side from PSV. The ball coming into Veerman, he took a heavy touch, allowed Rangers to get out and block his shot.
Tays wide on the right, gets his cross ins very deep towards the left-hand side of the area. Lang tries to control, he's done really well. Forced back outside the area though. As his pass into the middle is cut out by Raskan, who has it back for Rangers on this near side, and he wins the throw-in. Back off Tays, and that'll bring some relief to the Rangers defence, because it's been under the cosh since the restart.
Yeah, it's been pretty much all PSV since the ref blew the second half whistle. It's hard to see how Rangers in this current lineup are going to get the goal that's going to get them back in this game. It's going to be a real battle for them to try and stay in the game as it is, but I can't see them creating anything.
Jack is on the bench, Lammer, Seema, Sterling, Scott Wright, Davis, Balogun, King, Devine and Danilo, the outfield players, as PSV have it back now with Saibari. Jinks away from Raskan, and then he goes through the gears. A heavy touch will allow Barisic in to knock it out for a throw-in on this near side.
Different class. He's some player, he really is. Phenomenal player. Just driving his team forward there. Didn't know he had that change of pace in him either. I think Barisic is maybe got a problem here.
Yeah, Barisic is down, and the medical team are on to check him out. Ismail Saibari's been here for a while. He joined the PSV Academy from Genk, born in Barcelona. He's been in the Morocco senior squad. And he's kind of running the show here. It's his goal that separates the two. I think Barisic is done. I think Rangers are going to make a change here. So this is a blow, a further blow for Michael Beale. I think Borna Barisic, whatever he's done, he knew instantly that his game was over.
Muscle injury. I couldn't really see where it was, but he's back up on his feet. I think they're just waiting to see if he's going to be okay.
Doesn't look like it, does it? Doesn't look likely. The Rangers are going to make a change. So Michael Beale going to the bench a little earlier than he had planned. And clearly at this point it's not just about this game, but he's going to be missed if he has an extended period on the sidelines here. Dejan Sterling is going to come on to replace him.
Yeah, I think they might go to a back three here.
To be fair, they need to change something. Maybe it'd be a blessing in disguise if they have to change shape.
Yeah.
Throw in PSV, level with the edge of the centre circle on this near side. Bowled into Sangari, up into there it goes. De Jong tries to help it on its way. Saibari trying to nick it away from Cifuentes. He's done that, rolls it along the 18-yard line. Noah Lang back to Dest. And then it's Veerman to Lang to Dest. Little flick there, as the PSV fans enjoyed. It is Lang rolling it into the penalty area. Chance here for Veerman, who forces the ball out for a goal kick in the end. It didn't come off John Lundstrom, so it's going to be a goal kick to Rangers, but Noah Lang coming to life over on that far side for PSV.
Fabulous reverse pass, really is of the highest quality. Some of their passing has been a joy to watch. They seem to have that kind of defence splitting pass in them. It cuts open a Rangers backline. Rangers really struggling to find that type of quality of a pass themselves this evening.
51 on the clock. PSV have another free kick. The match has been played exclusively in Rangers territory here. They cannot get out. It'll be a free kick to PSV, who were forced into the Europa League by Rangers this time last year. They came through their group, which included Arsenal, before eventually succumbing to the eventual winners, Sevilla, in the knockout playoff round. Goes out for a throw-in, James Tavernier over it. Of course, this is the last year of the group stage in the Champions League. Moves to that new Swiss format next year, the league stage. And all the participants, all 36 of them, will play 8 games, 4 at home, 4 away, from September to January. The Europa League and the Conference League going the same way. Suter pings it forward onto the chest of Dessers. Rangers still just one behind here. 3-2 it is on aggregate. Dessers controlled. The PSV fans thought with a hand. Cantwell's not going to get onto the pass though. Over on the far side, and the Dutch side clear. And rolled out to Jordan Tays on the right, across the halfway line, looking for Bakayoko on the right touchline. Bakayoko now facing Sterling, the Rangers summer arrival. He's just on the pitch. Into the midfield for Sangari. And then out to Lang, who pops up on the right-hand side. Bakayoko takes over, taking on Sterling. Checks and turns back the way and finds Tays, who's got time to take a touch and get the cross in. What a ball it was! De Jong across the face, and Saibari touches it home. His second, and PSV Eindhoven second. And Rangers' Champions League dream is crumbling here in Eindhoven. Saibari sticks the knife in again, and it's PSV 2, Rangers 0, and 4-2 in aggregate.
Well, it's really difficult to see a way back for Rangers now. PSV have started this second half ever so well. Again, it's all a wee bit easy for PSV to cut Rangers open. Brilliant football from them. The ball to the back post. I think it was De Jong. Could only hook it across the face. Saibari there to tap home. And yeah, I mean, I'd be amazed if Rangers can get back into this game now. Need a miracle.
Just checking it. Yeah, they're just checking it. Well, Saibari certainly onside, as was De Jong. As you see, the cross from Tays is outstanding.
It's just the qualities.
De Jong's done really well there, because a lot of strikers would have seen that ball come into them, and hooker by crook, they're having a shot and goal.
Yeah, that's if he did. That's if he did mean to do the pullback and didn't just scuff a shot. But either way, it worked out for Saibari to tap it home. They've just got better players in Rangers, and it's fairly simple to see. They're a better team with better individual players.
PSV heading for the Champions League groups. And that will mean Rangers will have to settle for the Europa League. But I think the initial payment for Europa League participation is between 5 and 6 million. The Champions League, it's in excess of 30. It shows you the huge chasm between the two competitions. There's Suter rolling it back to Goldson. The 4-2 to PSV. The back-to-back Dutch Cup winners. They were runners-up to Feyenoord last season. They're going to have a right good run at it this year. They've spent a lot of money in the summer. As that slipped through to Sterling, and Pascali comes across as his pass towards Dessers is cut out by the PSV centre-back. Once again, it's the opportunity for Cyril Dessers with the match level at 0-0, the tie level at 2-2. He didn't take it. And at this level, you've got to be in a position where you're taking those chances.
Yeah, it was a big moment in the game, Liam, without a shadow of a doubt, considering PSV scored their first goal just a couple of minutes after the opportunity. And that's the difference, unfortunately, for Rangers.
Cifuentes on the turn against Saibari. Rangers attacking here. Here's Cantwell, smashes it into the box, breaks back to the edge of the area. And Cifuentes Launches it high over the bar, and it stays PSV 2, Rangers 0 on the night.
Half chance, edge of the box, the ball ricochets back from the cross to him. He's hit it first time, but the ball was coming up at a reasonable pace, but high and wide.
Well, you just wonder if Michael Beale just makes changes now to try and alter the course of this, because Rangers are going nowhere fast at the moment other than to the Europa League. Suter into his own box for Goldson, first time ball to Lundstrom, out to the right for Tavernier. Tavernier taking it up onto halfway, into the PSV half he goes. Onto the touchline for Cantwell, infield for Tavernier. Rolls it forward to Dessers. Dessers at the edge of the area, back to Cantwell, passes it to Matondo in the box, he shoots over. Deflected though, corner. Really good build-up play by Rangers, probably their best passing move of the match.
Undoubtedly, Liam, certainly the best of this second half anyway. Really good play from them. Tavernier, Cantwell all involved. The ball comes out to Matondo on the left-hand side. He takes a shot on early, it's blocked, but yeah, definitely Rangers' best passing move, certainly of this second half.
Rangers corner, they need the next goal. There's no question about that. Tavernier's over it, in-swinging corner coming up from the Rangers left. The right foot of the captain. Congested 6-yard box, he's taken it short to Matondo. Gives it back to Tavernier, looks up, right foot chip ball, flicked towards the back post. Decent from Goldson, but it goes wide, and it stays 2-0 PSV on the night.
It was a well-worked corner, short corner, Tavernier to Matondo, back to Tavernier, he whipped it near post. Connor Goldson gets the slightest of touches on it, and it's a whisker by that far post. That'd have been a good time to score.
Here on Sports Sounds, Champions League playoff action on BBC Radio Scotland. It's a long ball forward for PSV. 4-2 they lead on aggregate. Saibari too strong for Raskan on this near side. Shifts it infield to Sangare, and a little give and go, and he's got all his tricks out tonight. Saibari, confidence flowing through him, it's brilliant, works it back from De Jong and shoots, and Butland saves. Oh, that is magnificent play by Saibari and by PSV Eindhoven. He's at the beating heart of that as the PSV players passed their way through Rangers, and Saibari, unfortunate to see Butland save that low, because that was heading for the bottom right, and that would have been his hat-trick, and what a way to notch a hat-trick it would have been.
Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. What a footballer. That was just unbelievable. 3 or 4 passes, taking out 5 Rangers players. The shot from the edge of the box actually is a good save from Butland in the end.
In comes the corner, and it's clear by Cifuentes, only as far as Bakayoko. He passes it back to Taze, his pass loose though to Cantwell. Taze wins it back off Matondo. Veerman on this near side. A minute shy of the hour mark here at the Philips Stadion. It's PSV with Bakayoko on this near side. Up against Sterling. And back away to Taze, he finds Schouten. To Sangare, to Schouten again. The Rangers can't get a kick.
No, they can't. PSV are really comfortable, they're really enjoying it now. Popping the ball about for fun.
Here is Lang out to Saibari on the left-hand touchline. He's popping up everywhere now, the Moroccan. Chip ball towards Sangare. Too much on it, and it skips through to Jack Butland. PSV 2, Rangers 0.
Just wonder how long the manager's going to wait.
Double change coming.
Wee bit of action in the bench.
Lammers and Danilo.
Yeah, well, he had to do something. 2 attacking players.
It's back inside their own penalty area here for Rangers with Lundstrom. Pings it out to Sterling on this near side. Heads it, keeps it in play. No, it's gone out actually over the line. There'll be a throw-in to PSV midway inside Rangers territory as Michael Beale makes the double change. Sam Lammers and Danilo. Danilo, another who's got good experience of playing PSV Eindhoven. The Rangers are in a big hole here in the Netherlands. Raskan comes off, that's the first change. And Lammers replaces him, and it's Danilo for Dessers, who's not done anything to curry favour with the Rangers supporters tonight. He's had a hard time since moving to Ibrox, and that miss at 0-0 on the night is proving oh so crucial.
Yeah, big moment. He's had another tough night, his Dessers. Really struggled to make an impact. only had the one opportunity and didn't take it. Chance now for Danilo to show why Rangers spent that money on him.
Tavernier on the right-hand side, moves it infield to Cifuentes. Cantwell to his right, that's a poor ball straight to Bakayoko. When they've had the ball, they've been so loose in possession tonight, Rangers, and when you're up against this standard of opposition, you cannot afford to do that.
You can't, you've got to keep the ball to get yourself a breather as well as anything else, but too many slack passes, slack touches. They haven't looked assured and confident on the ball.
Sam Lammers there, Dutchman back on home soil. He's from Tilburg. Rangers have had a few trips to the Netherlands in recent years. They were in Tilburg themselves a few seasons ago to play Willem II, as Cantwell is tripped to the ground, and that will be a free kick to Rangers midway inside their own half. Goldson for Lundstrom, long with the right foot, out to that right-hand touchline where Tavernier is. He's found him. Tavernier, low ball to Danilo, first time to Lammers. Can't quite get it out from under his feet. He still has it right-footed and wins Rangers a corner at least. So the substitute making an immediate impression.
Yeah, it was lovely to be passed to him from Danilo, really sharp into Lammers' feet. He couldn't get it set, he couldn't get turned. Eventually, under massive pressure, manages to get a shot away, deflected for the corner.
Outswinger from Tavernier over on that far side, the Rangers right, below the Rangers fans, and it comes, headed away
really
by Veerman, and out for a Rangers throw-in. It wasn't a good delivery by Tavernier. It's taken short, the throw-in to Matondo, back to Tavernier. His cross is blocked this time. They just don't have the same quality in the final third.
No, they don't. I mean, Tavernier's delivery is normally excellent. Just on that occasion there, the corner, poor delivery.
Here's Tavernier to Lammers at the right angle of the box, out to Matondo. His cross deflected into the area where Bakayoko can clear. De Jong's touch will take it straight to Suter. Now Lundstrom, and out to this left-hand side for Sterling. Short ball back to Cantwell. Cantwell then to Sterling again, hugging this left-hand touchline. Tries to move in field, but was well read by the defender Tays, and PSV have it back. Double quick time, Saibari's pass cut out by Sterling. Better period for Rangers this. They're 2-0 down as Tavernier comes forward. Out to the right-hand side for Matondo. A little touch from Dest, just takes it away from the Welshman as he rolls it back to Goldson. And he in turn will put it back to the edge of the centre circle for Suter. Suter forward to Cantwell. Cantwell, a lovely little ball into the area. Lammers is there, pulls it across the face. It's gone in. Tavernier's there at the back post to bring this tie back to life here. Rangers back in the game. It's been their best spell in the game, really. And James Tavernier from Sam Lammers' ball across the face of goal slides in and puts it into the roof of the net to make it PSV 2, Rangers 1.
What a goal that could be.
Just checking it. They're just going to check it.
What an important goal this could be. It's brilliant from Cantwell. The wee scoop over the top. I think he's on, Liam. I think he's on. To Lammers. A sensational ball across the 6-yard box. And James Tavernier, who else at the back post, sliding in to put it home. That puts a different twist on things.
It does. It really does. This tie's alive again. Big time. 4-3 the aggregate scoreline now stands at. As PSV win a free kick level with the Rangers 18 over on that far side. Tavernier with a foul on Lang.
Yeah, I'm not sure there was too much contact there. Lang went down quite easily. Tavernier frustrated. But that has given Rangers such a lifeline. It really has. And it was difficult to see where it was going to come from to get back into this match. They hadn't really created anything, but substitutions making an impact, that's for sure.
Lammers did brilliantly there. And Tavernier steps up to the plate for Rangers yet again. But it's a PSV free kick in a dangerous position over on that far side. Right-footed free kick now, delivered in the box. De Jong's header! And PSV have their 2-goal lead back instantly. Luke De Jong's the man you want to keep an eye on. But somehow he's been left to nod it past Jack Butland. And it's PSV 3, Rangers 1, and 5-3 in aggregate. Rangers' hopes extinguished almost immediately.
You know, you talk about important times when you've scored a goal, you've got to keep the pressure on, not concede, stay in the game for as long as you can. At 2-1, if the game had kept going like it was, Rangers would have got another opportunity to draw level later in the game and to concede so quickly after having scored. And it's to be expected.
Do you know what?
De Jong in the middle of the 6-yard box, the delivery's excellent. Lammers ends up marking him, he's not going to out-jump De Jong. It's a fantastic header. But again, you cannot give that man any space in the box at all.
Well, they should have learned from
that is why.
Last week when he scored direct from a corner. That coming from the free kick. Tavernier and Lammers had just hauled Rangers back into the tie. It was Tavernier who gave away the free kick, and Lammers was out-jumped by De Jong. And PSV lead 5-3 on the aggregate scoreline. He did suspect they'd score a couple tonight. The home team, it was about what Rangers could offer up the other end. PSV have 3 goals. 3-1. 67 played, so we're into the final quarter of the second leg. And that's such a body blow for Rangers. Michael Beale must have been sitting there having made the changes, saying, you know, we're behind, but we're in this now, we're in this. And all of a sudden it's whipped away from them. Goldson's another wonderful switch of play by Goldson to Sterling. On this left-hand side, testing the pace of Taze. Sterling pulls it across, but it's a lovely footwork there by Shoughton, who's the midfield player, and that was just wonderful skill.
Certainly didn't panic, did he? You know, in his own box, under real pressure. Just a lovely bit of skill to evade the press.
Yeah, the PSV fans enjoying themselves again. After Tavernier had given Rangers some brief respite. Andre Ramalho, centre-back's going to come on. He's going to replace Noah Lang. So Barry will move out to that left-hand side. Shoughton will come into the middle. And Ramalho, who wasn't fit enough to start tonight, having been taken off at Ibrox last Tuesday, will come on for the closing 20-odd minutes.
Yeah, well, it was mostly through Ramalho that PSV looked a wee bit dodgy at the back, certainly on the ball. 2 or 3 giveaways he had on the evening last Tuesday night.
Well, that was Luke de Jong's goal as he goes head-to-head with Cantwell. It's the first PSV Eindhoven player to score in 5 successive European matches now. That on his 250th appearance. And in their last league match, which was against Vitesse Arnhem a week past Saturday, he scored his 150th Eredivisie goal. So he's having a rare time of it just now. The frustration, I think, on the face of Todd Cantwell there is the long free kick for PSV. He's met by the chest of Butland, who came outside his box there to get rid of it in unorthodox fashion.
Did well in the end. Did really well, playing as a sweeper almost.
Lammers out to the right for Tavernier. Fires it forward, can't find Danilo. PSV have it back, Sangare. And on the turns, Joey Veerman. It's a fabulous midfield lineup they've got there. Sangare again. Out to Taze on this near side. Out to Bakayoko, taking on Sterling, getting away from Sterling. It's Bakayoko to the edge of the area. Great save, Butland. Wonderful hit by Bakayoko. With the left foot, he dropped the shoulder, cut inside. Left foot effort is arching towards that left-hand corner, but Butland saves and behind for the PSV corner.
He just wants to cut in. Every time he's picked the ball up, he's cut in the pitch. This time Sterling can't get near him, he cuts in, and the shot is almost inch perfect. Another good save from Jack Butland. You think about it, he's had 3 or 4 really good saves to keep this scoreline down tonight.
PSV pressing, another one now would clinch it. Here comes the corner, it's flicked away by Tavernier. Now picked up by Bakayoko on the reverse side, the right-hand side of the Rangers box, crosses in, headed away by Lammers. It's come back in towards De Jong, who fires it over the bar. Not sure how that happened. He's looking up to the heavens, where the rain tumbles down from all of a sudden. It was very wet here this morning, dried up in the hours building up to kick-off, but it's pouring down now again, and that's another chance for Luke de Jong.
Yeah, it was. He'd be disappointed he didn't do better with it on that occasion. It was a poor clearance from Cifuentes. It broke to De Jong off the deflection. Puts it high into the stand behind off to our right.
Rangers have it with Danilo over on the right, looking to fire it forward towards Matondo. He's found him as well. Matondo's in behind, chance to bring Rangers back again, but what a wonderful piece of defending that was from Taze. He's come from nowhere to deny the speed merchant Matondo, who scored that fabulous goal in the first leg last week.
The quality of pass through from Danilo is absolutely outstanding. Again, Matondo's first touch, after he takes it, he waits and hesitates and allows Tez to get back and make the tackle.
Third corner of the match for Rangers. Tavernier takes, Lundstrom can't get anything onto it. PSV head clear, only as far as Cantwell. Out to that right hand side for Tavernier, fires the cross ball in, comes off the head of Sangare. The edge of the box, De Jong heads clear, only as far as Cantwell, crosses back in. Buscali this time heads it away. Dest tries to clear his lines. Cifuentes picking up the scraps on this near side, through the legs of Dest. He's found Lundstrom, getting it back here. Cifuentes, left hand side of the PSV penalty area. So we approach 72 minutes. Rangers 3-1 down on the night, 5-3 in aggregate. Cantwell to Lammers, and he touches it back to Suter. Right-footed low ball square to Lundstrom. Lundstrom with the right foot as well, out to the left-hand side for Sterling, who moves it into Lundstrom, who sweeps it towards Lammers, looking for space to shoot, which he does. He puts it wide of that left-hand post, and on 72 minutes it will stay PSV Eindhoven 3, Rangers 1.
Good play from Lammers, getting it out of his feet. Left foot, probably a good 21 yards out, just wide of the post. He's looked decent since he came on, probably the best I've seen him in a Rangers shirt. He's involved in the goal, getting a couple of shots off.
PSV Eindhoven, 24-time Dutch champions, pipped for the league title by Feyenoord last season, and desperate to wrestle it away from their rivals from Rotterdam. As Lundstrom collects, rolls it out to Sterling on this near side, and now Cantwell, and he loses out. Poor touch, Sangare, now Bakayoko gets it from Veerman on this right-hand side, and Cantwell brings down Bakayoko. And the referee comes over to speak to the Rangers midfielder.
Lucky not to be in the book again. He's got this in his game, Cantwell. When he gets frustrated and things aren't going his way, he makes these silly fouls. Should have been a yellow in my book.
Of course, avoided that second yellow last week. A wild challenge at Ibrox. Now, here's the main man again, Saibari, out to Bakayoko in space, right-hand side of the box. Onto the left again, he goes for goal. It's a weaker effort this time. It's a comfortable take for Jack Butland.
Yeah, exactly the same as the last one, on his left foot. You know he's going to cut inside, he only needs half a yard, gets his shot away, but this time missing the accuracy and power of the first effort.
Tavernier infield to Cifuentes, back to Tavernier over on the right-hand side on the touchline, forward to Lammers, back to Tavernier, looking for Lammers, but they lose out. And PSV have it back, shouting into the centre circle for Sangare, and out to Taze on this near side as he goes back the way to Ramallo. Lots more European action tomorrow night. PAOK Hearts, Aston Villa Hibs in the Conference League playoff. Hearts 2-1 down to PAOK. Of course, Hibs 5-0 down to Aston Villa. So Unai Emery is going to put out a pretty young Villa team tomorrow, going by what he was saying today in the build-up to that game. And Aberdeen, of course, looking to finally get into the Europa League group stage. It's a target for them for a long time now. 2-2 after the first leg in Sweden against the Swedish champions Häcken. Full house at Pittodrie, live on Sportsound. All of those matches we'll keep you up to date with. Commentary of the Hearts and Aberdeen games, and that game at Pittodrie is live on the BBC Scotland television channel as well. Here's John Suter for Rangers, striding forward into the final third. Suter has it on the near side, it gets the cross in, headed away though pretty comfortably by Buscali under no pressure. We're in the final 15 minutes here in Eindhoven. PSV 5-3 to the good on the aggregate scoreline. Twice Rangers led at Ibrox last week. Twice they were pegged back. 2-2 after the first leg as it was last year, but this has been an even better PSV performance than we saw against them last season. Rangers rode their luck at times here last year, but they took their opportunity when it came their way as Matondo drives forward. Wonderful play from Matondo!
Oh,
he's hit the post! What a run that was! And Matondo weaved his way past players into the penalty area. His shot comes off the right-hand post and goes behind for a goal kick in the end, and it will remain 3-1 PSV on the night.
What a goal that would have been, Liam. this is what he can bring. He's a frustrating player because he does things sometimes that have you scratching your head, and other times he does things like that. It was just absolutely superb. The drive and run, his pace is electric. His footwork there to get into the box and past those two players was outstanding. Then he tries to curl it into the top corner, hits the outside of the post. That made things interesting.
Yeah, good play by the Welsh cap. Turns 23 next month, so still at a relatively young age in football terms. That bobbles out for a PSV throw-in level with the edge of the centre circle in the Rangers half. And that goes in, that brings Rangers right back into the equation again. As it is, there's still daylight between PSV and Michael Beale's team. It's PSV Eindhoven in possession. Here's Schouten, turns it from the left to the right of the centre circle. Now it's with Tays, out to Bakayoko, wide on the right, taking on his man again, Sterling. Waits for the overlap, Tays pulls it back the way, and then the shot from Veerman goes in! And Rangers are on the receiving end of a hammering here, as PSV obliterate their Champions League hopes in the most brutal fashion. It's PSV Eindhoven 4, Rangers 1, and that makes the aggregate scoreline 6-3.
Again, Bakayoko heavily involved. He's had a brilliant evening. He really has caused Rangers so many problems down this right-hand side. But if you think about the moments in the game and the chances, and then straight after the chances, you know, the Dessers one, then PSV go up the other end of the pitch and score. Then Rangers do get a goal back and concede to only a minute later. Then that chance from Matondo off the post, PSV go up the other end of the pitch and score. Big moments and big games. Rangers haven't taken theirs, PSV have.
Well, they're checking the goal at the moment. There was a PSV player not far off Jack Butland there. I think it was Sangare was standing on the 6-yard line in an offside position. And was he interfering with play? Doesn't look like it. Looks like the goal's going to stand. And Rangers being railroaded out of the Champions League here. 4-1 on the night.
Rangers could have had a case there for the player standing in front of Butland. Don't know whether he was completely unsighting him, no, but the goal stands.
Well, this is some revenge, is it not? The PSV, they posted on social media as soon as they came through Sturm Graz in the third qualifying round that they were ready. Time for revenge is what they said. And they've dished it out.
Yeah, they've been the better team. I mean, there's no getting away from that. Over the two legs, they've been the better side. You know, the scoreline could be a lot worse tonight had it not been for Jack Butland. Rangers have had their moments, but not taken them.
Tavernier over a Rangers free kick meantime in an attacking position, left-hand side. In comes the cross, a decent one as well, and Danilo threw himself at it, couldn't really get anything on it, and it comes right through to Benitez. It will stay 4-1 PSV with 11 to play.
Sensational ball in from Tavernier, really good ball, lots of whip on it. Problem for Danilo is it's moving away from him, it's whipping away from him. He's just trying to get the slightest of touches on it. He's only a couple of inches from it, but because of the spin in the ball, he was never making it.
Goalkeeper again, another example of him perhaps not being the most reliable. It was a short ball, he almost gave it straight to a Rangers player, straight to Danilo. De Jong fires it out to Bakayoko on this near side. Well, it will be Thursday nights for Rangers in the Europa League as Cantwell wins it back, comes into the box. He's found Danilo, looks to shoot, it's deflected. Keeper saves down to his right. Now it's a chance for Matondo. His shot was always rising over, but it's an opportunity there for a combination of Danilo and Cantwell initially. As we go into the final 10, and it will stay 4-1 to PSV and 6-3 in aggregate.
Another couple of decent half chances. I mean, Danilo's one gets blocked, and you think the goalkeeper was awfully slow to get down to it. The ball had no pace on it whatsoever. Then he kind of makes a meal of his punch away. It falls to Matondo. He lashes at it, but high over the PSV bar. They have made chances in this second half, but the problem for Rangers is they haven't taken them, and they've also conceded.
PSV have been utterly ruthless. Jack Butland's made some saves as well. This could be worse.
Yeah.
Yes, it'll be Europa League Thursdays for Rangers. Oh, and Goldson's just scored an own goal. passes it back towards his keeper. Butland was nowhere near it as he raced back to try and prevent it from going over the line. Connor Goldson puts through his own goal, and it's PSV 5, Rangers 1, and 7-3 on aggregate, and it's turning into a humiliating night in this competition for Rangers again.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was pretty humiliating the way that goal went in. Initially, Butland comes out, he doesn't really get his pass to Connor Goldson with enough pace in it. Goldson then inexplicably fires it back at him. And he's nowhere, he's absolutely nowhere. He scrambles to try and get it just in the line, but it goes in. I mean, a horrendous mistake. Combination of Butland, but then Goldson, inexplicable how he put so much pace on that ball back towards his own goal.
Well, that sums up the Rangers night. Connor Goldson took a while to raise his head there as he stared down at the turf looking for answers. An ignominious moment in the Rangers' career of Connor Goldson. Change for PSV. Olivier Boscali, the centre-back, is going to be replaced by Goose Teal, who was a sub last week as well. But that was a really horrible moment for Connor Goldson. It's going to be a double change for PSV, in fact. And they're going to bring on Chimamanda Sambo. Again, he was a sub last week as well. He comes on for Taze, by the looks of things. And yeah, PSV running rampant here.
No half.
There's Matondo. Sterling on the overlap. Matondo continuing his run towards the byline. He wins the corner at least for Rangers down on this left-hand side. And again, it's kind of threatening to boil over for the Rangers players, and I think Matondo just stuck the head on.
They both did it.
The PSV player. They were both at it. They'd both been booked.
Yeah. Just going head to head, and they both just had a wee nibble at each other. Yeah.
We'll obviously be looking at this in the background, but the corner has been taken by Tavernier, so no further action as the goalkeeper comes and claims. The referee, I think, is going to order a retake. Now, is that because they're still checking the... Perhaps he was still speaking to the VAR.
Yeah, I think so.
And that corner was taken by Tavernier. Sambo and Matondo yellow carded. 83 and a half on the clock. 5-1 PSV Eindhoven. In comes the corner, it's headed away. Comes to Cantwell. His effort from 20 plus yards goes well over the bar, and it will remain 7-3 on aggregate. And of course, Rangers suffered some humiliating Champions League nights in the groups last term, and it's been the same story tonight in the playoff. Another multiple goal defeat coming their way here as Ryan Jack comes on to replace Matondo, who's shown some good spark tonight actually at times. Rabbi Matondo, again, perhaps his decision making not the best, but he's had opportunities and he's been arguably Rangers' best player tonight.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He's had some really good moments. Certainly running with the ball, he's caused problems. Really unlucky not to score with the shot off the post, and he has looked bright. He's reinvigorated his Rangers career. Looked kind of gone for me at the start of this season, but he's impressed his manager and he's taken his chances when they've come.
Benitez with the long ball from the goal kick. Goldson underneath it, and now onto the chest of Cifuentes. It's going to be difficult for Connor Goldson to get that out of his mind now, isn't it?
Well, Benitez got an Old Firm game on Sunday.
Celtic visiting Ibrox Sunday, high noon. Another busy weekend ahead. Open all mics on Saturday, followed by those 3 Premiership matches on Sunday. Rangers, Celtic, Aberdeen, Hibs, Hearts, Motherwell. Celtic will find out who they will be joining in a section of the Champions League with tomorrow, 5 o'clock. The draw in Monaco. Rangers' name will not be in that draw. They will have to wait until Friday in the Europa League. Saibari for De Jong. Could get worse here. Across to the right-hand side, and Butland saves from Teal.
Well, it's another brilliant save from Butland. He made it look easy. The cross in from De Jong, sensational. The pass through to him from Saibari, real quality. And at the back post, Teal catches it really well, but Butland does ever so well to just clear it with his feet. if it hadn't been for Butland and these 4-5 saves and big moments, this could have been even more embarrassing.
Vertessen's going to come on to replace the man of the moment for PSV, Saibari. He scored twice tonight, could have had a hat-trick himself. He's been excellent. He'll be replaced by Vertessen. And just to rub more salt in Rangers' wounds, the man who set up their winner here last season, Malik Tillman, is going to come on for his PSV Eindhoven debut on loan from Bayern Munich. Rangers wanted him, perhaps not for the fee Bayern were looking at. But Tillman will come on for PSV Eindhoven for his first appearance in front of these supporters, in front of a 36,000 capacity crowd.
Well, both the players that have gone off the pitch have had incredible nights. They really have. Saibari and Bakayoko. Really, really strong performances. So impressive, especially Saibari for me. Incredible night.
Tillman was, of course, PFA Scotland's Young Player of the Year last season. As he comes on for his PSV bout. And Rangers have a throw-in up the pitch. It's Danilo just knocking it, looking for Jack, but it's going to break to Sangare. Gives it away. Rare mistake by one of the PSV midfielders. We're in the final 3 minutes here as Lundstrom's cross ball evades everyone and goes behind for the goal kick. So it will be Europa League, Stephen, for Rangers.
Yeah, it will be.
They did okay last time they were in that tournament.
They certainly did. Do you know what? It might be a blessing in disguise, because I don't think this team is capable of playing in the Champions League this season. And given what happened last season, the humiliation that happened there, then got into Europa and having a decent run in Europa, I think, is no disaster for Rangers.
Well, they put together the worst campaign a club has ever put in the Champions League groups.
Yeah.
The season before, of course, Europa League final. Jack forward to Lammers. He fires it into the feet of Cifuentes, who goes back the way to Jack. Now it's with Sterling out onto the touchline for Cantwell. He rolls it to the edge of the centre circle for Goldson. Out to the right-hand side, Tavernier's ball into the box. Lammers at his back to goal. He can't control anyway. PSV get it away. And those PSV fans slumped their way out of the stadium a year ago, beaten by Rangers. Well, it's been some recovery. Here's Cifuentes for Rangers. He gets the shot away from just inside the box. He doesn't catch it, and it's a comfortable take in the end for Benitez.
Extremely comfortable. Yeah, he found himself in a wee bit of space in the box. Did Cifuentes, manages to turn and get the shot off, but it was going at zero pace, and the goalkeeper straight down his throat. There's been some real lessons for some of these Rangers players who won't have experienced this kind of night. It's something they can store away in the mind and make use of in the years to come in their seasons, or their seasons to come in their careers. As De Jong comes down the right of the Rangers box, low ball in, comfortable take for Butland this time. We're in the final minute of the 90 here in Eindhoven. 5-1 PSV. That ball comes off Veerman, last out for a throw into Rangers over on that right-hand side. Danilo takes to Lammers, and he puts it straight back into touch. A PSV throw-in. Yeah, not the best. It wasn't a great throw from Danilo to Lammers, but it wasn't a great touch either. Just give them possession back. I mean, the game's been done for some period now. PSV taking their foot off the gas a wee bit.
We'll get some post-match reaction from Michael Beale, perhaps a player or two as well. 5 minutes of stoppage time has been confirmed, and we're into the first of those. Post-match reaction to come here on Sportsound and BBC Radio Scotland. You'll get the Europa and Conference League draws on Friday, once the teams and 3 Scottish teams in action in those 2 competitions tomorrow. As De Jong finds Tillman, and it's shifted out to the left-hand side, and here come PSV Eindhoven again, and Rangers could be in even further trouble. But last-ditch challenge by Souttar's a good one.
Great tackle.
And then Tavernier plays it off for his former teammate Tillman, and behind for a Rangers goal kick. It's an important challenge that by Souttar, as PSV, it was Vertessen who was driving down the left into the box. Looked like he was just beating everyone.
Yeah, it was some run. It really was. A really well-timed challenge by John Souttar. But the Rangers players, they need to get this out of their heads very quickly and get their minds set on Sunday, which is a huge game for them.
Even this early in the season, it's massive isn't it?
Game.
Because both Rangers and Celtic have had their problems early in the campaign. Celtic out of the League Cup, of course, held by St Johnstone last week. Rangers losing at Kilmarnock, thrashed here in Eindhoven in the Champions League playoffs. So both teams will have gone into that fixture in better frames of mind in the past. Here's Goose Teal for PSV, right hand side, drives it across, headed away by Goldson. It's now with Vertessen over on that left hand side. It's an overlap from Dest if he wants it. He plays it short to Veerman instead. Veerman gets it back immediately from Dest and he flashes it into the centre circle. For Schouten, who's gone back into central defence, I think, by the looks of that. It's now with Ramallo. It's Pascali coming off and Schouten started the match there in place of Ramallo, who's now on the pitch. As that's rolled back to Benitez. First time right-footed up towards halfway. Will drop down towards Suter, who falls over Luke de Jong, and the referee's going to stop play and give Rangers a free kick. As Teal went forward, the howls of derision from the PSV supporters. They're 3 minutes away from the Champions League groups. I'm not sure they need to pontificate too much.
No, John Suter just went up way too early. Landed quite awkwardly in the end. Back on his feet.
See Cyril Dessers sitting down, staring out at the pitch, rather vacant look in his face after spurning that chance. When this game was 0-0, the PSV might have gone on to score another 4 or 5 anyway, you never know, but it would have put a different complexion on the match and the tie had he converted that chance. Launched him forward towards Danilo. We've played 3 of the 5 minutes. Here's de Jong. He's got a chance to play in. Teal to the left, which he does. His effort blocked by Goldson. Second chance across, cleared by Suter. Here's Veerman. Out to the left-hand side. Vertessen gets the cross ball in, but it's an easy take for Butland this time.
I mean, it is 5-1. It could have been 7 or 8, looking at the chances that PSV have missed. And saying that, you do feel as though Rangers could have scored another couple themselves, hitting the post, and another couple of close misses.
Yellow card for Malik Tillman, who's just chopped his old teammate Todd Cantwell to the ground. There'll be a free kick to Rangers on this near side.
Yeah, it wasn't a great tackle from Tillman.
And it will be Sterling to put it back into zone half for Suter. Tillman's move here has brought him Champions League group stage football, as it did last year when he went to Ibrox. Breaks the Schouten inside his own penalty area. We're in the final minute of the stoppage time. Offside flags up against Rangers. Free kick PSV. And they're enjoying their night, Stephen, now round about us.
Yeah, and they deserve it. They really do. They had the heartache last year when Rangers came here and won, but there's no doubt, absolutely no doubt, PSV deserve to go through. They've been the better side over the 2 ties, and they've got a very strong side. Incredible players, individual players in their team as well.
Yeah, it'll be
interesting to see how they do. Yeah, it will be. It will be.
Throw in for Dijon Sterling on this near side. Final few seconds of another wretched night of continental football for Rangers. Those morale-sapping defeats in Amsterdam, in Naples, and the home game against Liverpool in particular. As the final whistle goes, and Rangers will be in the Europa League this season. And Champions League hopes extinguished here in spectacular fashion by PSV in Eindhoven. Cyril Dessers had a chance to put Rangers 3-2 up in the tie in the first half, but he missed that opportunity. His shot squirmed wide when he was one-on-one, and he was made to pay an almighty price as PSV went about their business with a murderous purpose tonight. Saibari, the Moroccan, was the star of the show with 2 goals. Tavernier brought Rangers back to within 1 again on 65. With goals from de Jong, Veerman And an embarrassing OG by Connor Goldson send Rangers spinning out of the Champions League at the playoff stage. And they will be in the draw for the Europa League on Friday at lunchtime. And it will not be tomorrow's Champions League draw, where Celtic will be very interested to see who they get when it's made at 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon in Monaco. Well, Rangers have to lick their wounds. They're going to have to get things turned around fairly quickly with Celtic visiting Ibrox, that powder keg derby on Sunday, which will be live here on Sportsound. So the Rangers players go to applaud their fans, many of whom are still here and getting behind the players, but a pretty embarrassing scoreline in the end up as it finishes here at the Philips Stadion. PSV Eindhoven 5, Rangers 1 and 7-3 on aggregate.
Rangers in the Champions League playoff round.
Live on Sportsound from BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.
Yes, no doubt, a sobering and at times humiliating night for Michael Beale's side. So Sabari with a double, 35 and 54. James Tavernier very briefly looked to have given Rangers hope on 64 minutes. 2 minutes later, De Jong made it 3-1. Then Veerman on 78, 4-1. And that embarrassing own goal from Connor Goldson on 81 minutes. A comprehensive victory for PSV. No doubt they're a very, very good side. As for Rangers, they were a long way off it this evening. They will drop into the Europa League. That draw will be made on Friday. They will be in pot 2. Neil McCann, your thoughts on that Rangers performance this evening?
Yeah.
1 second, we'll just go quickly back to St. Emil's.
Yeah. I think it's Raskin and Noah Lang maybe getting involved there.
Liam, are you there?
Yeah, sorry Kenny, Neil's just pointed out, flagged up the players who are involved. For some reason, Nicholas Raskan's got himself embroiled with 2 or 3 PSV Eindhoven players. There was a bit of shoving. I'm not sure if there was anything worse than that, but there was certainly a head-to-head or two. Todd Cantwell got involved as well. And then there was I think it was a member of the stadium staff then pulled Raskan away from 2 or 3 PSV players, as the frustration and angst clearly boiling over down on the pitch there at full time. All the Rangers players have since been taken off the pitch now. They're all away up the tunnel. Clearly, they're clearly hurting from what has been a pretty embarrassing evening for them. The PSV players have moved away from the scene now as well, and they're going to celebrate with their supporters, celebrate their place at the top table of European football. But clearly there was an ugly finale to the evening for the Rangers players down below us. Wait and see if there's any repercussions from that. We will get reaction from the Rangers camp in the next sort of half an hour, hopefully. Yeah,
we will hear from Michael Beale live on Sports and Neil McCann. So your thoughts on that Rangers performance?
Yeah, I think Rangers were well off it tonight, Kenny. I felt before the game, if they got their game plan right, they were brave, they executed it, they absolutely had a chance. To get themselves back into the match through James Tavernier again, and then to concede only a couple of minutes later is just, I mean, it's soul destroying if you're a Rangers fan, because you think, right, there's a bit of light here, having not played all that well, and then you just concede a really soft goal. This zonal marking from wide.
Talk to me about it. Explain the thinking behind why so many managers think that's the right way to go.
So listen, Kenny, so many teams do it now, and I'm talking about all the top teams will do zonal marking generally. I don't know, maybe I'm missing in the stats. The stats must show and must suggest that is the preferred way and the best way to defend against wide free kicks. There's a spread along your 18-yard line generally. You're responsible from your area and a couple of yards in front. But tonight, De Jong, who's probably the biggest threat in there, walks through behind Tavernier, who is exonerated because he's due for his space where he's standing and in the area in front. But he walks in front of Lammers and just puts his head on it and gets PSV back into a comfortable position. It's really, really poor. I think when Lammers come on, Rangers look more of a threat. Danilo, they get into better areas of the pitch, but then they go and concede another 2-3 goals. So there has to be a balance, and I think PSV were just better. Tomo said something tonight during commentary when PSV were out of sight that was a blessing in disguise. I kind of have to agree with that. I don't think this Rangers side would have been ready for Champions League football. Looking at it, I don't know if they've improved in last year, so maybe the Europa League is the best place for them right now, and they can concentrate in trying to wrestle the title back from Celtic.
It's a good point, Tom, isn't it? Because in all truth, for large periods tonight, they were outclassed, just as they were in the Champions League last season.
Yeah, they were annihilated, and 5, as mortifying as it is, it's kind of, they kind of got away with it. With 5, it could have been 6, 7, maybe more. You know, they don't belong in the Champions League. That's the bottom line. They didn't belong in it last season, and they don't belong in it on this evidence this season. You know, to concede 5 against a very good team, very, very good team, that's a tough one to take. Outclassed by a massive margin. The defending was really poor. The passing was really poor. Like since the Europa, now albeit they're playing against top-notch sides, but since the Europa League final, they've played 14 European games, and they've only won 2 of them, and they've conceded 35 goals.
Yeah.
You got to put in the fact that they are playing against, you know, PSV and Ajax and Napoli and Liverpool, top-notch sides, but they haven't found a way last season and clearly this season to survive in games, to try and make it a battle. When they go in against these good sides, over the course of 2 matches, they get obliterated, and that was men against boys tonight.
Yeah, I'm interested, Tom, to see what the perspective is just watching the game live in the stadium. At any point, perhaps aside from the Cyril Desser's chance, that was in 32 minutes, did you have any belief that Rangers could actually do the business tonight?
I felt as though they started the game quite well. You know, the opening 15 or so minutes, they weren't under massive pressure. They had that decent ball across the box at the very start of the game, but as soon as PSV kind of got their foot on the ball, and I mean, we're talking about a different level of footballer. Cy Barry, I mean, I know Neil likes him, but I mean, his performance tonight was absolutely sensational, and watching it live here, it's a level of player Rangers don't have. Bakayoko, he could be away for however many millions of pounds. It's just talent that Rangers don't have, so it's very difficult to beat. I said before the game, you're going to have to put in the best performance, a level of performance that we haven't seen to be able to beat this team. Rangers were going to have to raise themselves to way above and beyond what their capabilities are to have gone through this game. And sometimes you get the odd game when that happens. Sometimes in big games you can raise your game and you'll beat a better team, and it takes a real amount of effort and it takes a real amount of organisation and work rate from the team. And there was nothing really wrong with Rangers' work rate tonight, but they were playing against a better team, a far better team, and ultimately they've paid the price. And this, you know, Neil's just reiterating what I said there. This team isn't ready for Champions League football, and having seen what happened last season, I do think the Europa League's right for them, and I hope that they can improve and you know, go into the Europa League and have a decent enough competition in it. Because what we don't want to see is our teams getting thumped in European competition. It was embarrassing a wee bit last season with the Champions League. Tonight, obviously, is not a great look for one of our biggest clubs, you know, so you want them to do well. You want all the teams that are involved in European competition that are Scottish to do well, but they're not at this level. So, you know, you've got to hold your hands up sometimes.
Beale, he's trying to kind of rebuild the team, and to be thrown into the Champions League with the sides that they would have been in with, that's an impossible task. The Europa League is going to be tough enough to rebuild kind of on the hoof, but it's an easier, in inverted commas, level of opposition. It's a more kind of forgiving, again in inverted commas, competition to try and bed in your new signings. It's three wins out of 14. I think I said 2 wins out of 14. It's still a sobering statistic when they go in against the big boys. And PSV are, let's not beat about the bush. They are an exceptional side. I don't think they're not. They'll be competitive, I think, in the group stage of the Champions League. But that team might break up because they've got so many good players, so many good young players. I think the real moneyed clubs of Europe now might be circling. They already are circling, but there's 3 and 4 players in that team between 20 and 24 that could be ripe for the picking for some of the bigger clubs around Europe. They're a very good side. They showed it tonight. Rangers are just not at this level. You wouldn't expect them to be at this level. Europa League awaits. You hope that they get a kind draw. And this is a tough one.
I think it looked tonight as if Rangers players didn't believe in the match that they were good enough to get a result. Matondo showed flashes tonight why Michael Beale has preferred him to Hadji, and then Hadji leaves. But looking at it, I think PSV are a very good side, and I agree. Veerman, Sangare, the front 4 players of Bakayoko and Lang and Saibari in particular, supporting De Jong, I think are good, but defensively I don't think they're brilliant. But they didn't have to be tonight.
No.
And the way Michael lined up in the first half, I didn't think it worked at all. I actually feel a wee bit sorry for Dessers sitting on that bench. He's hurting just now because he's been brought in with expectation, and it's not clicked for him yet.
Danilo.
Sorry?
Danilo.
I'm talking about Dessers first. But then Danilo, Dessers sitting on the bench looked at. I mean, he looked a very, very down player in there. Almost shell-shocked sitting on the bench. It was a couple of close-ups on the television cameras, and I look at Danilo who come on as well, and I'm watching the boys going over to the fans, and they're probably looking thinking, these fans are mad. They're a mad group of supporters, passionate. I mean, so supportive to their team in terms of they'll follow all over the place with great noise, and at times on the pitch tonight it looked a bridge too far for them. So to go into the Europa League, I think is the right place for Rangers right now. I think they've managed to churn back some ground on Celtic after surrendering 3 points in the first game of the season. That's where the bread and butter's at for Michael Beale. The bread and butter's, and go and enjoy the Europa League, but their task at hand here is to get silverware first and foremost, but it's a league title.
Well, what about these? What about these 2 you've mentioned up front? There's been significant investment in this squad. I mean, the success in terms of the recruitment so far is Butland. You mentioned the word commanding last week. He's been very, very good.
Yep.
He prevented a totally embarrassing scoreline tonight. But up top, the Rangers fans will take a lot of convincing that Dessers and Danilo will deliver them the league title this season.
I agree. Michael has to find the formula, right? So he believes that these guys are good players. I think they're all technically good players. But he has to find a formula that is going to capture the imagination of the Rangers fans. There's a clear identity of style of play. And that identity and style of play needs to churn out results so that the Rangers fans are knowing what they're going to turn up and what type of football they're expecting to see. You look across the city, talking about Ange Postecoglou even, and Brendan Rodgers has got clearly a different style. But under Ange Postecoglou, Celtic fans would roll into a game of football and know exactly how Celtic were going to play.
Yeah.
They're coming to Brendan Rodgers and they know roughly what he's going to play like, but it's not clicking yet. I think Rangers fans are coming to watch Rangers and they're not quite sure what the style is. I'm not quite sure. My job as a pundit is to actually try and analyse a game and dissect it and pass my thoughts on to the punters of what is going on from a professional point of view. And I look at it and looking at Michael Beale's sides, and I totally believe he's got an idea of what should be his first 11 and how he wants to play. But I don't believe that he's seen it yet, and I don't think there's any evidence just yet. But these guys need time to settle, of course, into Scottish football. But we keep saying it. That time is short in Scottish football. The rope was short before they start to tighten it.
Totally. And now he's got a game on Sunday, which he dare not lose.
I know, it's amazing.
He just and it, like the
But I
press.
mean, what's helped him?
Sorry,
what's
go on,
helped
Tom.
him, sorry, Tom. I was just going to say what's helped Michael Beale to a certain extent is Celtic not firing in all cylinders. Because if they'd started the season like last season and were on fire, then there'd be an awful lot more stick. Celtic going out of the League Cup, obviously Rangers become favourites automatically, and then dropping points at home on Saturday with a poor performance, Celtic. So, it's kind of almost evening out a wee bit in terms of like neither of the two of our the big clubs have started the season well. I think that is really kind of it's kind of softened the blow, I think, for Michael Beale in terms of losing that first league game, and then obviously tonight. Sunday's huge now, and Neil was right to say before the game, there's probably not been a time when the Old Firm have met in a game where neither are really, looking good or looking like in form or. You know what I mean? So it's going to be it's a really hard game to call actually Sunday. It's going to be dead interesting.
Does it matter, Tom, of the defeat tonight? Do you see that having an impact on Rangers on Sunday?
I don't know. I mean, I think obviously it's going to be a sore one to take. They'll need to take the flak, but an Old Firm game, it's on its own terms. It's you don't need any kind of motivation for an Old Firm game, and I don't think there'll be a hangover from this game. I really don't. I think you've got to, and that's the manager's job. He's got to put this to bed. He's got to tell the players. Tonight he'll give them the information about what he thought of this game, but that then that's gone, and there's no point in looking over that again, because they're not going to be playing against a team as good as PSV. So they need to come into Sunday's game with a fresh approach and with a kind of, that's gone. The league is what is our biggest focus this season, and here's the first Old Firm game, a chance to kind of go ahead of Celtic. This game tonight will be parked by the manager. At least I think it should be.
Yeah, it's a huge game. It's always a big game. We know that, Neil. But just as you say, given the poor form of both sides at the moment, this will tell us a lot on Sunday, won't it?
Yeah, I mean, we say poor form. It's not perfect yet by a stretch. But I mean, they're not poor, but. Going into these games, generally the sides are starting to hit a higher gear. I'm looking at the team there and I'm thinking about what he's going to do on the basis of what we've just witnessed, and I would think Matondo would start for Rangers. I think Lammers would come to mind. I thought he made an impact when he came on tonight, not just because he made the goal for Tavernier, but I think he offers something. Then you're looking, right, does he go with a guy who's struggling a wee bit in Dessers, or does he go with Danilo, or does he go with Sima? This is what I mean. We're now in September, and I don't quite think that Michael could pin his hat on a centre forward that is going to guarantee.
What sort of calendar have you got?
What's that?
What sort of calendar have you got?
Well,
Definitely says when.
Well,
when's the 30th of August on my phone?
Sorry. Aye, you're right. Sorry, aye. Right. So I think that we're early in the season. So I meant, Tomo, that we should still. We're under a right few games, and you should know. You should be able to know, right, that this is my spearhead for the team, and as yet, we still don't know it yet. We still don't see it yet.
You look at the signings he's made: Cifuentes, Danilo, Dessers, Lammers, Sima, Dowell. You would, as the Rangers manager, you would hope that some of those would be guaranteed starters, like on merit, guaranteed.
But they weren't tonight.
But they're not.
Yeah.
But none of them are. None of them are. Cifuentes comes and goes. Big question marks over all of them. These are a lot of money spent in fees and salaries, and you wouldn't hang your hat on any of them. And I know it's early in the season, but you think that one or two of them would hit the ground and instantly be recognisable as he's got to start. Every week he's got to start. And none of them really do. All of them, if there was better on the bench or coming through, all of those guys would be vulnerable. Every one of them.
Is it a 50-50 game for you, Neil, on Sunday?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Rangers slight advantage with the home advantage.
Yeah, with no fans in
fans.
there. Yeah, with no fans in there, which again, it's we've had this discussion plenty of times. It absolutely shouldn't be the case. It devalues the fixture.
Totally.
I know it's getting more Rangers fans in there, and they'll love that, but I just think it devalues the fixture and makes it a poorer spectacle. But yeah, I think it's very finely balanced due to the fact that both managers are struggling to find their best team, functioning team at the minute. Honestly, I'm really intrigued to see how this fixture goes at the weekend and Sunday. It could have a huge bearing on where the title's going to go. And I know it's really early, but I'm talking about mindset. I'm shocked that just now there's not more activity across in Celtic Park right now for the transfers for Brendan Rodgers. I fully expect there'll be a bit of panic in terms of the last couple of days of the window generally just goes crazy. And I can see a couple of arrivals across the city.
So what do they need? Centre half cover, and they need another striker.
I would say they have to. Yeah, I'm looking at it, and I'd be very surprised if they don't strengthen in that area. But I don't know if I see anybody else coming into Rangers, unless one or two go out, that it might throw up a last minute thing. But I think that squad could be pretty settled. But Michael has to find a way of making that squad that he's assembled hit higher gears than what they're doing right now. It's so much in the balance on Sunday. So much in the balance.
Celtic did, of course, make a signing today, Tom, and this one's been talked about for quite a while, but I've heard Celtic fans talking about they feel perhaps they need another keeper in, that Joe Hart maybe isn't the answer this season. A couple of early mistakes from him. We know that Kyogo's been carrying a shoulder injury, O's been out injured, centre half they've been hit there with injury as well, so you would expect a fair bit of more activity from them to add to their signing today?
Yeah, they need... Well, I mean, it's not me saying that. Brendan Rodgers has said it. They need quality is the word he used, and they need starters. They don't need squad players. They've brought in Luis Palma, the Honduran winger. Today, I don't think he'll be the only one that comes in the next few days. But they have a situation with the centre halves. They've obviously been deep.
Are they ready for Champions League, Tom, in your opinion?
Absolutely not, based on what we've seen so far. I mean, they've failed to score in 2 domestic games in a row. That hasn't happened in 5 years, I'm told. Back-to-back domestic games, goalless. So they don't look ready at all. They don't look next to ready. Because not only have they had all these injuries at centre half, and they've a load of centre half, so did they bring in another one? They're talking about Nat Phillips of Liverpool. I don't think Nat Phillips is a particularly good centre half. Did they need it? Because they've got a ton of them, but just most of them are injured. Did they need another one? I think they've got about 6 centre halves at the club at the moment. What they need is they need their big players to get fit, as in Carter Vickers primarily, and they need Callum McGregor and Kyogo and Maeda and Abada to lift it. Everything has gone flat because they're probably trying to adapt to Brendan Rodgers' way, but they don't look like themselves at all. They're missing Jota, obviously, so they look vulnerable.
But there weren't that many changes, were there? I mean, so Jota left, Starfelt was allowed to leave.
Yeah, but the kind of spine of the team isn't functioning. Joe Hart is fine, but they need backup. The two centre halves, Starfelt and Carter Vickers, they've been broken up. One injury, one gone. McGregor, the totem of the team, isn't playing as nearly as well as he can play.
Hatate's an interesting one.
Hatate has been injured. He wasn't selected initially by Rodgers. You don't know what his status at the club is. Kyogo, last couple of games, hasn't been himself. He's trying to play a different role, dropping deeper. Out wide, they're not getting the goals.
Jota's out. Johnson was injured.
Johnson is like, they've been very, very unfortunate with injuries. Really, really unfortunate. But the rest of the go-to guys aren't getting it done at the moment, and it all looks second half of the weekend. They looked a very poor side. They really toiled, very unthreatening. So they have a lot to find, Celtic. But Rangers have a lot to find. You know, as you said, the two of them are going into this game, both of them wounded in different ways.
Both are under pressure as well. Both managers are under enormous pressure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're all of the opinion, and I think when Rangers fans look at this game tonight, they'll probably think what Stevie said there, and I commented on that. They're not ready for Champions League. It's not a big hammer blow that they're not in the Champions League, because they're not ready. And it's not nice to go and perform like they did last season. So it's no big deal for me, that. But getting into this Celtic game, and we will be in September by the time it comes round. But I think Brendan Rodgers, as Tom says there, to not score in the last couple of games, he's out the League Cup. All of the stuff that was said about Brendan coming back, he's having to make sure that if they get fans back on side again, he's rolling into that not in good form.
No, and the reception wasn't great when he was around the pitch.
Fans booing. A section of the fans
booing after the St Johnstone game. He's getting no fans. He's getting no support behind him at Ibrox going on Sunday. And then you've got Michael Beale going in there, and we've spoken about this side that's just. It doesn't have a hallmark of a style yet, in my opinion, and he's getting into this after just missing the big table. So if he loses that, I mean, that brings its own pressure as well. By the way, Celtic going out the League Cup brings another type of pressure to Michael Beale, because then he's a front horse, and they're thinking, right, he should be sweeping away everyone else, and that's no disrespect, but Rangers fans will now expect that he should lift that cup.
Yeah, the thing is though, Tomo, there's no doubt they're both under pressure, and both have made slow, disappointing starts to the season as far as the respective fans are concerned. But what we do know is that Brendan Rodgers is a very good manager. He has delivered big time in the past. Surely in terms of Michael Beale, the jury is still out.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think what Michael Beale has to do this season is deliver silverware, and he's now got a really good opportunity of winning the first silverware of the season. This was a stretch too far for them in terms of Champions League. It'll be interesting to see how he gets the squad up and running to cope with the Europa League, which rolls around quite quickly, you know. So that's going to be a test for him. What he doesn't want to do is, on the back of this game, go into Sunday's game and lose that at home, because then it just creates a kind of narrative, and when you lose 2 games on the bounce for Rangers at any stage, it's not good. But if they were to lose so heavily here, to not make the Champions League, and then to lose obviously at home to Celtic, then the negativity will start to kind of build. The jury's out on any manager until they win trophies. At Rangers, your job is to win trophies. That's the demand. You've got to win the league, you've got to win cups. Europe's a bonus. Of course it is, but the bread and butter of a manager for Rangers or for Celtic is you've got to deliver trophies. And this season, he has to do that. It's that simple.
Yeah, I mean, Tom, we had a Rangers podcaster on the programme last week. We asked him what the expectations were this season. Obviously excited by the European occasion. He certainly was prior to the game at Ibrox last Tuesday night. But he said, make no mistake, it's about delivering the league title this season. That's what Michael Beale has to do, and he's been back to do it.
He has been back to do it, but he's the players he's brought in, and we keep going back to that. I always said at the start of the season that if Michael Beale got his recruitment right, this could be a proper title race. There's a big question mark about whether he's got his recruitment right. What I didn't foresee is Celtic struggling the way they have been struggling. Couldn't foresee their injury list, which I think has derailed them a little bit. It's the top 2 are in a kind of different place to where I thought they would be. I thought that 1 or 2 of these guys, their new signings, would hit their straps kind of from day one, but they haven't really. So we're in a kind of holding pattern. And I think Sunday will tell us a lot. And if there's a winner and if there's a loser, the loser is going to be under some serious pressure from their fan base, big time. And I couldn't call it right now. I couldn't call it because they're both wounded animals. And there's both uncertainty and there's both a little bit of rancor behind the scenes, amongst the fans, I mean, from both sides. I would imagine Rangers are getting ripped apart by their own supporters tonight for that performance. It's Sunday. It was always going to be fascinating, but because of the kind of state the two of them arrived to Ibrox in, I think it has a kind of grisly fascination about it.
Yeah,
that's a good way of putting it.
I know what you mean, because it's. Listen, I think it could be blood and thunder on Sunday.
Yeah,
I do, in order just to try and just gain the upper hand in the early stages of the football match. It's quite interesting how the season started out. St Mirren, but for a late goal, could have been riding high up there at the top of the league. Motherwell going well. It's what the other sides outside the Old Firm want. You see, is Celtic and Rangers not firing, spending money, and not firing yet, and thinking we've got a wee chance here. We can, there's always a dream. There's always optimism. Can we pack mentality the Old Firm and just pick bits off them? I think all managers should always think about that outside the Old Firm. But it's fascinating I'm really looking forward to going and working in the game and seeing how Brendan Rodgers approaches it early on. Does he go and have a right good go at this team and think, right, they're vulnerable after losing heavily in a European... Everybody knows coming back from a European night is very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. So it'll be really intriguing to see what kind of team Brendan picks. Maeda starting on the right at the weekend. Will he go back to the left again? Abada, as Tom touched upon. Kyogo, did they go really aggressive at Rangers and see how this team cope with it, even though it's such a partisan crowd that they're playing in front of?
Yeah, I was thinking, Tom, at the weekend, actually, I'll just come back to this. Michael Beale with us a second. Just very briefly, Tom, I was thinking at the weekend in here when the results can obviously the Hibs scoreline, Tom. Actually, we'll get back to this. Let's now cross live to presser here from the Rangers manager, Michael Beale.
Yeah, listen, I think we played against an excellent team over two legs. There was times in the two games where we did well, and obviously we scored 3 goals over the 2 games, so we're bitterly disappointed with the way we defended at times in key moments over the 2 legs. And certainly tonight, when we get the game back to 2-1, you put a little bit of intrigue in the air, but so to go and concede straight away. And I thought the story of the 2 legs was that we couldn't handle Saibari and De Jong. We, as a team, in everything that we tried, we couldn't handle them. In times in the second half tonight, we had to go for it, obviously, because we were down at half-time. And we actually had opportunities in the second half to score more goals. But I think it's clear for everyone over the 2 games that it's fair that PSV go through, and they're an excellent team.
You now drop into the Europa League, given Rangers' performance in the Champions League last year and the margin of victory for PSV tonight. Do you think that could be a blessing in disguise?
Well, we wanted to get there, and we wanted to get there, and then you see what the draw brings. But we haven't made it. We're not going to deny being disappointed. I think we drew the hardest opponent we could draw at this stage of the competition. If I look at some of the other games, going into the Europa League this year looks as strong as ever, with teams like Liverpool and other sides in there that you can face. So we'll wait and see what the draw brings. I think for this team coming together after a lot of change, this game come far too soon. That's what's clear.
You said just there yourself, you want to be in the Champions League. It's not happening for you this season. How far away do you think this group are from that level?
I think this group's got a way to go because it's a new team. The most important thing for our fans, for the players, and for myself is to get there via the domestic competition. We have to win our home league, and we haven't done that for a couple of seasons, and our focus is on that. We have a huge game at the weekend. We'll pick the bones out of tonight in the international break. Our focus now has to be on recovering and preparing for the weekend and starting the season going into this international break, we obviously wanted to try and make the Champions League. We've fallen short. We wanted to be in the quarterfinal of the Cup, and we want to be top of the league. Two of those things, or the last one of those things, is in our hands now. Our focus has to be on that, and it's clear as a team we need to improve at this level. I think PSV are an excellent team. I think this PSV team is the strongest team I've seen from this club in a while.
How do you pick them up for Celtic on Sunday? Because a defeat's one thing, but that was a hammering tonight.
Okay, that's your words. I think, listen, they were ruthless. They were ruthless. The level between this competition and domestic is different. We go into it, we'll dust this off. It's a huge game. It's the perfect game for us to go into it with. The team we're playing against don't come into it in a fantastic place either, so it's an intriguing derby at the weekend and everything's to play for.
Did you expect better for the team tonight, Michael?
I didn't expect us to concede the goals the way that we did.
What do you put it down to then, the defending? What would you put that down to? You're saying that the kind of PSV attackers were kind of just too much?
No, listen, I think they're a very, very good team. I thought we found it very, very hard to look after De Jong and the number 10, and they won the duels with our centre-backs, and it made the game difficult for us. As a team throughout, we could have shown more quality. I felt we started the game quite well, but we ended up sitting deep and we couldn't stay with the ball, and that was partly due to our quality, but also partly to the way that PSV stayed with the ball and counter-pressed us. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say that we were terrible, because I also think the other team, the resistance was stronger than this team's faced this season, and the level was too much for us. That was clear.
Andy?
Michael, your goalkeeper put on a very good display tonight. It could have been a lot worse without him. Is the challenge for the rest of the new signings to get up to the level that Jack Butland's shown so far?
Yeah, I think Jack's shown he's a quality goalkeeper. I think it was a fantastic signing for us on a free transfer of his age and his capabilities for sure.
And in terms of the selection tonight, I mean, a lot of people were surprised not to see Ryan Jack in the team just because of the experience in these type of games and the way he's performed, especially last week. Can you just sort of explain your thinking behind that one?
I think every time I pick a team, someone's going to be surprised someone's not playing. I don't think that had any outcome in the outcome of the final result of the game. I think it was clear over the two legs the better team's gone through, so we can pick the bones in. He could have played or he could have played. I think PSV are a good team and they showed it against us tonight.
Okay, thanks guys.
Fairly short media conference there from the Rangers manager. He said bitterly disappointed with defending at key times. His centre halves couldn't handle Saibari and De Jong. The game came far too soon for this team. He said the group, Neil McCann, has got a long way to go. He bristled with the word hammering that was put to him. What did you make of the Rangers manager? He fairly short answers. Well, he's feeling the pressure a bit. What
he's disappointed. Generally, Michael does not give short answers, does he? No. He's normally one for giving good content, lots of detail, and I think he's clearly hurting with the performance. Listen, he's disappointed, but Michael will know. Everybody will know, but even at board level, that was too far to go to the Champions League right now. The 22 million again would have been lovely, but I mean, battering again would not have been enjoyable because that side are not ready to take on Europe's elite. Michael said it there himself. Michael needs to find a system that is going to be his tried and trusted and his go-to system. The other teams are going to have to say, we need to adapt to that. Mm-hmm. We need to deal with that. But I think just now, and it was a good question for one of the reporters. I didn't catch who it was, but they asked about, do they have to get to the level that Jack Butland is showing just now? Right. So you're signing players. We will, we're at back end August. There's a number of games under the belt now. These guys should be starting to show that this is why I'm brought to the team, but they have to be shown why they're brought to the team, because you sign players as a manager in recruitment to play a certain way. You don't sign good players and think, right, I can adapt that. You actually say, this is how I want to play. Or you maybe have 2 or 3 formations that you can maybe fluidly move to. and guys might be flexible to go and play different types of formations, but essentially you're buying for specific.
Like Ange Postecoglou did.
Yes, Ange Postecoglou did it. So you're buying general when you're trying to recruit. I need a proper number 9, or I need a target man. So you've got a guy who can come off the game, or you maybe want a poacher, or you maybe want a target man, and then you want a number 10 that can play like in a wide position, but coming in to free up a fullback. So you're really specific in what you're looking for, but there needs to be a degree of flexibility. 3 players started tonight out of his signings, 3. And I think if Kemar Roof would have been in that squad, that would have been 2, because I think he would have started ahead of Dessers. So therefore, I think that question was a really good one to say these guys need to start showing now. It's frustrating for a manager to picks a formation, picks players, and they're not performing, so then he maybe has to change his formation and then his personnel during that game. So it's probably a fault on the players that they're not doing it yet. But I still firmly believe that Michael has to nail down a formation and say, right, these are the guys I'm choosing for a reason. I bought them to his club, and this is how we're going to play. And opposition have to deal with that. And so far he's changed a wee bit in order to get the best of the guys.
But he's changing because they're not giving him a reason to keep picking.
Yeah, that's what I mean, Tom. That's what I mean.
They just, he obviously wants to get on a settled side. But he feels he can't have a settled side because none of them are giving him the reason.
Correct.
To and that's what I was saying earlier on about none of those guys that I mentioned earlier, 5 or 6 new signings, have made anything like a compelling case for being in the team week in, week out.
And that's a good point, Stephen Thompson, isn't it? I think it would be fair to say I could probably give you 7 or 8 attempts to pick the Rangers starting 11 this coming Sunday, and you may not get it right because it's very, very hard to predict right now. He said there's a lot of work to be done in the international break, but before that, this huge game we've been talking about on Sunday, it's all to play for. It's a 50-50 call, isn't it?
Yeah, a manager's dream is a team that picks itself. When players are playing at a high level and you don't need to make changes week in, week out unless it's for injuries or if somebody comes off the bench and does something incredible. Right now, he doesn't know his best team and it's going to take him a while to work that out. But in the meantime, there's massive, massive games. You've got the Old Firm game and then very soon you'll have the Europa League games, etc., etc. So it becomes a problem for him. And trying to get the players' confidence levels up, certainly the strikers. So there's lots and lots of different things that have to be worked on. It was interesting to listen to him speak. I thought he was very honest about in his assessment about the game. He's clearly not happy. Why would he be? But he agreed that PSV were the better team. De Jong and Saibari. Saibari for me was the best player on the pitch tonight, but Rangers didn't cope with him. And the defending wasn't good enough tonight. And actually, I'd say that's the one part of the team, ironically, from goalkeeper and back 4, that has been steady for Rangers. With Suter and Goldson and obviously Tavernier. Barisic, we'll see how his injury has come Sunday. Be a blow if he wasn't playing for Rangers. But that's the one part of the team that has been operating, and you know what you're going to pick, and you can rely on those players, I think, to a certain extent. Moving forward into midfield and up front, you're right. It's a lottery at the minute because I couldn't sit here and tell you what I think is going to happen on Sunday. I'd imagine Jack would come back in for his kind of experience in these types of games, but out with that, it's difficult to see what he's going to do. So it's a problem for him, and it's a problem that he's going to need to work out quickly. Because as I said, the greatest feeling for a manager is finishing a game and knowing, right, well, basically, I'll be picking that same team again next week. And that's where he needs to get to quickly.
Yeah, there's probably only 2 or 3 that you could, well, maybe 4 or 5 you could name as absolute certain starters. Butland has been great. Connor Goldson, Suter, maybe not great over these 2 games, but they look a fairly solid partnership. As Tomo said there, we'll wait and see what happens with Barisic. But of course, the man that will definitely start as a captain, he scored again this evening. James Tavernier has just been speaking in the mix zone out in Eindhoven.
James, clearly a very disappointing night for you and the team. Can you pinpoint where it went wrong this season?
Obviously conceded too many goals. Coming into this leg, we're all level. Even at 1-0 at half time, we were disappointed with the first half. We felt that we'd probably given too much of a space to play football, but we knew that we were going to come out second half and create chances. And even at 2-0 down, we knew we were still there to be played for. We've still plenty of time, and obviously we got 2-1, and then we conceded a really, really early goal after that. So it's just disappointing, the manner of the goals, but it's something that we obviously have to brush off really quick because we've got a massive game at the weekend.
Yeah, and particularly frustrating to get yourself back into the game, have another couple of chances and for it to just slip away so quickly. Yeah,
it's obviously disappointing, and we created chances after that, and we just it wasn't, we weren't clinical enough to put it in the back of the net. So yeah, it's still really raw and disappointing, but we can't dwell on it too much. We knew how much it meant for the club and for the fans and ourselves to get into the Champions League. We're not in there now, but we've also got the Europa League, but we've got a massive game on the weekend before the international break.
And it's a case of, I guess, using that disappointment from tonight and that frustration, channeling it the right way and looking to Sunday now and getting it right then.
Yeah, we've got to quickly reflect. We've got to brush this off as quickly as possible. I know everyone's hurting, but it's something that we have to brush off really quickly because it's a massive game at the weekend, and we've got to respond in a really good way.
And just finally, the Europa League, a competition well that you've had success in before. I appreciate it's early on, but it's one you can look at and relish.
Well, it's obviously something that we're in now, so when that comes, we'll be obviously trying to give it our all and try to get as far into the competition as we can.
Yeah, James Tavernier there. The big games, the big occasions just keep on coming for us. Celtic in the draw for the Champions League. That will be made tomorrow. 3 Scottish clubs in European action tomorrow evening. Aberdeen, Hearts and Hibs. Full coverage on Sportsound. The guys kick off at 6 o'clock. Another very exciting card on Saturday, and some huge games, of course, on Sunday, including that Old Firm derby. So much to play for, so much to look forward to. That's all from us here on Sports Sound this evening. So join the team again tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. From all of us here, good night.